Hi, everybody. Welcome to FNS Wrestling Podcast, episode 104. That's 2 years, right, buddy?
Is it?
I think so. 52
crap.
times 2. I'm pretty
Didn't
sure.
do anything.
We didn't do anything. I just remembered kind of when I said
forgot.
it. And you've been reminding me for a couple of weeks.
Did I?
Yeah, you've been like, we're coming up to 2 years.
Oh, yeah. Oh, then I forgot.
Congratulations to us.
Yay!
Started during a pandemic that we didn't think would be that lengthy, right? We were looking for something to do.
Yeah, and then we just kind of didn't want to end it.
Right.
Or we just didn't.
We just keep, well, I enjoy doing it, so I just keep going. I don't know.
It's kind of like a constant now.
Yes.
So I'm
And
okay with it.
you don't enjoy taking notes for Dynamite, but.
No, and then, yeah.
And getting off your butt to come down here and record.
Yeah.
Right?
Doing things.
Yeah. But anyways, welcome to episode 104. I'm your host. It's my co-host and teenage son, Jack, across the table from me. And what's new with you this week? Recording a bit early this week, which will be nice for us, hopefully. Because we're going to try and do something we haven't done since, what did you say?
August 10th, 2019.
You remember the exact date?
I had to look it up, but Takeover Toronto.
Right. Oh, that's the last thing we went to. We're going to go to
the indie shows before that.
We're going to go to a live indie show tonight, I guess, and we'll see how it is. I have no idea. Only one match on the card. Never heard of either.
Our last one would have been a Saturday too, because it was Takeover.
Right. So, I don't know. We're just looking to get back into it. Really cheap tickets, just at I don't know, it's about an hour away. So we're going to go check that out tomorrow. You watched Minions last night with your younger brother and some of his friends.
2 nights ago.
2 nights ago. And how was it? You said it was kind of boring.
It was boring.
Nice of you to go with the younger folks, though.
Yeah, and then I also went to Thor a second time on Monday.
Yeah, you did. Left us adults to hang out together in a backyard. And then you showed up late on your bike.
Yeah.
It was a weird evening, but yeah. So that was fun. And yes, you saw Thor again.
Yes, and I will probably go again.
Still really liked it?
Yes.
Willing to see it a third time if you had to?
Yeah, and if I'm gonna, I'll try. I don't know. I'll trick someone.
So what did you think of the studio? I finally put up my Father's Day present.
Yeah.
It's just some boring gray and two-tone gray, is it?
Yeah.
Tiles.
You can't tell.
Just some sound treatment. I think I can tell the darker ones are gray. The lighter ones, I wasn't sure what you were going to say they were
gray.
Due to some color blindness. But yeah, it's just some sound treatment we put up to. So if it sounds better, there you go. Now you know why. If it sounds exactly the same, that is possible as well.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to move all the wrestling posters out of the way and put these up.
Yes.
So we'll see if it sounds any different.
Ooh.
Very exciting stuff this week.
Yes.
Anything new in your life? What do you want to talk about? I'll stop talking about wall treatment, sound treatment.
I got nothing.
You got nothing.
Yeah, I got nothing.
And then we're going to move into news, which you also got nothing.
Oh, yeah. I will continue to have nothing.
Yeah, so.
Slow week. I just couldn't get anything that interested me.
It is a slow week. I was digging pretty deep to get any stories, but I guess that's what we'll move into, is talking about some of the week's wrestling news and rumors. So starting out with the ratings, we had this week's NXT, 582,000 viewers, down 2%, so basically the same as last week, and they earned a 0.14 in the key demographic, up 17%, so they'll be happy with that. Dynamite, to contrast or compare, I guess, had 942,000 viewers, so down 3.8% from last week, 0.32 in the key demo, which is down 11%, but is still the 4th straight week that Dynamite has been the top of that demographic for Wednesday night shows, so they're probably happy about that. So not much shift for either show from last week, to be honest. Key demographics up and down a little bit, but the overall numbers pretty much the same.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess you got nothing for me, eh?
I have nothing.
I should have sent you a couple of my stories. I'll go quickly then. You just have very, interesting reactions to all of them. Right, that's your job.
Oh my God,
Yep, what do you think about WWE Raw moving to TV 14?
I could care less.
Yeah, we won't notice because we don't watch it.
No, I could see there being a change, but I can also see it just not being that different.
So the end of the PG era, at least on Raw, I don't know what the explicit difference is between 14 and PG. I imagine there's more cursing allowed and stuff. So at first when I heard it, I was speculating that that's them wanting to return to Attitude Era stuff, but then I read some more, and according to Meltzer, WWE themselves have yet to acknowledge the change in direction, but a source within the company has confirmed with Meltzer that it's actually USA Network decision and not WWE. So I was a little surprised by that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Although I guess if WWE's trying to attract the kids, I don't know if
Or
they're
maybe it's like what's it called? Like the Target demo or whatever.
yeah, they can definitely
The whatever demo.
18 to 49.
That.
Yeah, so you're right. They're probably gonna quote unquote do edgier.
I don't even want to know what that looks like.
I was
in
just
this
gonna
day and
say
age.
with the people they have writing now, telling them, okay, you guys can push it a little bit more now. Like I'm wondering what kind of nonsense they're gonna cook up. Um, and Meltzer also noted it's unlikely that Raw would go back to like having bloody matches and some of the diva style matches, right? Like the bra and panties matches or whatever.
Oh my god! Imagine. Oh, I could totally see them just slipping back to that.
Right?
It's
When it's
so
like
easy.
yeah, exactly. They're like, this is what's worked forever, so we're going back to that because it's the same people writing it or approving what's written. Let's put it that way, right? Um, but less likely that, and more likely more swearing and just profanity in general. So, I'm like you. I kind of wouldn't rule out anything with Vince
No,
in charge of creative, right?
in charge.
Right. So who knows what could happen? Would you like to? You could talk about the NXT stars supposedly getting new ring names. Do you remember who
Oh,
that was and
yes.
what the names were?
No, I don't. One of them was Jagger Reed, which is
Jagger
James Drake,
Reed,
and then was it Rick
correct.
Farlow?
Rip Fowler.
Fowler, that's what it
So
was.
yes,
Like, what kind of name is that?
according to PW Insider, James Drake will be Jagger Reed and Zach Gibson will be Rip Fowler, and it's still being.
Like, who's? That's not a name.
These are terrible. Reminds me of Rip
Rip
from
Tom. That's what I was
yes,
thinking.
from whatever that movie was.
It
No Holds
reminds
Barred.
you of No Holds Barred. Isn't that beautiful?
That's not a good thing to remind me of. No, that was not a pleasant experience. Still speculated that it's Gibson and Drake that are right now the Druid or the Dyad or the what was the new name? Schism.
Which that just makes it better then.
Which are like Joe Gacy's henchmen. So they took a cool tag team that could actually wrestle and do stuff. And I don't know, man. Well, I have zero faith that they're going to do anything interesting with these guys, right? It's going to be worse than what they were.
It's gonna suck. It's almost so bad you want to see it, but I also don't. At least what I was saying is that like it's like I think it'll be like different names, different characters, so you can at least like make like find some piece in that you can just pretend they're completely different people because they're pretty like it'll be different. But it's like what annoyed me was like JD whatever thing.
McDonough, I think. Yeah,
that's just
Devlin.
weird. Like Devlin, like it's Jordan Devlin. It's exactly Jordan Devlin.
They just
like,
changed his name.
They just changed his name, and so that annoys me because it's like, oh, I can see it's Jordan Devlin. I can't pretend it's not Jordan Devlin because it's same Tron, same theme, same gimmick, same nickname. Like
it's kind of them going, we know you're not watching
right,
NXT
it's
UK.
Jordan Devlin.
You're not watching.
Not Jordan Devlin. It's not. It's not like. And I was thinking like that'd be like if Pete Dunne kept the same gimmick, but then someone he was named Butch still.
Right.
Like that would just be bad. But like at least like it's still stupid though. Like Rip Fowler. Like what? What
bad.
kind of name is that?
I don't know.
That's probably one of the worst
bad.
ones yet. Like
Grizzled Young Veterans, I hate their tag team name, but I think they're really cool as an act.
That's like dumb, like logically, but like that's like very minor in the.
They were still cool.
Yeah, and that was very minor in the grand scheme of things. Like,
yep,
that was better than Swerve and Out Glory though. Actually, I don't know. Those are probably on the same level.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
So my next story, because he seems to work his way into our news for some reason, because I kind of like to laugh at him, and I think you do too. And that's Killer Cross. So he claims that he pitched a return of the Ministry of Darkness.
I saw that, like a PG one.
And that he also claims
corporate ministry, okay.
He had multiple writers on board, and that it was going to be like a new twist on it, including like dealing with conspiracy theories and the occult. So like dark stuff, and just he says, of course, he's using that. At the end of the day, you know, it all comes down to one person's approval of stuff. So according to him, he had writers on board, but the one person that matters didn't want to go ahead with it. So I wonder who that could be.
Nick Khan.
I don't think so. It might be soon, depending if anyone gets in enough trouble to lose their job. I highly doubt he will. But
no, he'll always come back.
The only other thing I have is you kind of told me this, and then I saw it in print, so I'm stealing it. Is it appears that Claudio Castagnoli will take on ROH champion Jonathan Gresham, right? And that will be the main event, it looks like, of Death by Dishonor, or Death Before Dishonor, sorry, pay-per-view.
Death by Dishonor. That'd be funny.
So I guess they teased it during the Rampage taping, but I kind of did we watch it yet? No, right? So
No.
it's coming up. So for us to watch at some point. I guess in his post-match interview, Gresham declared himself the best wrestler in the world, and then that brought Claudio to interrupt him and confront him. So it looks like that's what we're getting, which should be a pretty cool match, and just cool that we now get to see Cesaro facing. Like, it's all about fresh matchups for me, right? I say it all the time. So him being in a new company helps for sure. Kind of in two companies, right? I guess he can do ROH and
yeah,
I guess. And I guess that's the end of news since you don't have anything, right?
Nope.
So let's transition to the part where you get to do the heavy lifting, and that is taking a look at this week's episode of AEW Dynamite.
So we open the show with new TNT champion Wardlow defending against Orange Cassidy because, well, I don't know.
I don't know why either, to be honest. I'm not sure.
I'm confused. Notables, there's a tilt-a-whirl head scissors by Cassidy. Wardlow cartwheels out of it.
That was impressive, actually. I haven't seen him do. I don't think I've seen him do that before, so that was cool.
I don't think so. Wardlow pulls Danhausen from under the ring, and off of the distraction, Cassidy hits an orange punch on the outside. But back in the ring, Wardlow regains control of the belly-to-belly. Cassidy counters a powerbomb into a DDT, follows with the tilt-a-whirl DDT for 1 count. There was an F10 by Wardlow for 2, which they noted was Cassidy was the first one to kick out of that, I think.
I think so, yeah.
So
looked pretty good. He chucked him.
That's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
There's Stun Dog Millionaire, Orange Punch, and a Beach Break by Cassidy for near fall, so just stringing together the big moves.
For sure.
Wardlow ducks another Orange Punch, and he wins with a singular powerbomb.
Yeah, I thought that was probably a compliment to Cassidy, right? That it's like, I can only hit one. I'm not going to...
And he took all of his big offense to...
Yeah. I don't know how you feel because we haven't talked about this one at all, but I really like this and was a little bit surprised because I didn't think it didn't seem like what I wanted.
Low expectations.
And I didn't know why it was happening either, to be honest. But like, I thought Orange Cassidy looked really good. He had a bunch of like counters to Wardlow's power moves, right? Like he's kind of studied the guy and how he wins every match, and he had counters for it, which I thought was cool. And it was just like a good story of like the small
I'm
underdog.
Disappointed that he didn't go for a body slam, so maybe that's why he lost.
Exactly.
He should have like gotten out of powerbomb, body slammed him, and won the match then and there.
Lots of like cool near falls, right, for Cassidy, just to sort of course he's never gonna win, but just to like, I don't know. So it's cool because I've kind of been wondering how they're gonna make Wardlow vulnerable is not the right word, but like actually able to have a competitive match because he's just killed everyone for however long now. And this was sort of, I quickly forgot about it, and Cassidy looked legitimate to me, right? So
yeah, I thought this was like the first time they actually kind of did that.
Yeah, and I thought it was really good. I was surprised. I don't know why, because I say I don't really like Orange Cassidy, and then he has matches, and I'm like, him and Ospreay might have been my favorite match on the show. I thought this match was really good, so maybe I like him more than I think I do. I don't know. But anyways, yeah, I really like this match.
Yeah, I was really hoping Mox and Takeshita were gonna open because I just thought that would make sense. But as Justin said, I think it's pretty alright considering I didn't really expect that much. I didn't love it or anything, but I thought it was solid. Like, I thought it was a perfectly fine opener, just nothing like amazing. I thought it was a solid showing for Cassidy, and Wardlow looked good kicking out the big string of offense there. I wish Wardlow was more done here because he only had a couple cool notable things, but that's fine. It's probably the most vulnerable he's looked since the recent push. Like,
for sure,
that, like they kind of showed that they were capable of doing a competitive Wardlow match. Kind of odd it was against Cassidy, but it was fine. It was a solid match.
I liked it.
Solid opener.
Yep.
Then we got highlights of Pac versus Shota Umino which was the first defense of the Atlantic title, which was from Red Pro last Sunday, which they also aired on Dark.
Right.
The day before Dynamite.
Didn't watch it, but the highlights looked cool. Umino looks cool.
Mm-hmm. And then next we hear from Chris Jericho. He says he stands out here as Chris Jericho, the living legend, which apparently Ric Flair didn't like.
Oh, really? Too bad for him.
Grow up.
He was on Impact this week.
Ew.
In a like not him in the live, but yeah.
He's like old, like.
Well, and like, anyways, we'll get there. I'll talk about it later.
Yeah, it's not like it's a young guy. It's Chris Jericho, who's also kind of old.
He is.
So like, live with it. Not any other monikers. And Eddie Kingston superior. He says he wants to address a lot of things Kingston said last week. He didn't make Kingston a liar because he isn't a liar. Jericho lists off Kingston's friends and acquaintances that he and Jazz took out powerful Danielson, Ruby Soho. Jericho talks about how Kingston challenged him to this barbed wire everywhere match, and he asks how many Kingston has had, and more importantly, how many he has won. He says he won the first barbed wire match in Canadian history.
Sure.
I don't know.
Fact check. I don't know.
And he's just as sadistic and maniacal as Kingston, he underestimates that. He says Kingston will face the Painmaker. Woo!
The Painmaker.
Next week, who's undefeated in AEW as it is a different person.
Yes.
Jericho says this is the final fight between him and Kingston in their saga. When he wins, Kingston can crawl back to his hole and every excuse he's had. He will never be at Jericho's level. And he says Kingston isn't a liar. He's a loser.
Ouch. Yeah, I'm not going to lie. This didn't do a whole lot for me. It felt really long. I didn't feel like it added much to me. Like you, I know you're going to say so too. Him going, you're getting the Painmaker doesn't mean a whole lot to me, right? The crowd reacted strongly to Jericho calling out Kingston's sort of mental health issues. But I thought he was kind of rambling here, like he didn't have much of a plan going into this, and he used a lot to say very little, I thought. So I also, don't you feel like this feud has kind of run its course already? Have they not had 2 multi-man bloody battles already?
They also had the match at Revolution.
Right, so this doesn't feel fresh. It kind of feels...
I mean, I guess the barbed wire is...
whatever, but they've already been in, like, bloody matches already, so I don't know. It didn't do a lot for me. You?
One of the matches may or may not have had blood in the title.
Correct.
If we're talking recent heel promos, I enjoy Christian Cage a lot more.
Me too.
There's something I never expected to say or hear. But this is fine. It wasn't the most entertaining, but I thought it was fine. Best part was him listing off how he's taking on most of the people close to or associated with Eddie Kingston. I thought the reveal of the Painmaker next week was kind of lame because of the way he touted it, and also saying Painmaker's undefeated is like, it's like they're treating it like Demon Balor, and at least to me those are two very different things. Like Painmaker seems like Jericho's like slightly different look, like a bit of makeup, and he's not really that different. Like he's pretty much just Jericho still, and it's not really an alternate ego. Like Demon Balor is a whole different thing compared to Finn Balor. Like it's different. Anyways, it was a fine promo. I guess I hope they have explosions next week. Either that or barbed wire needs to literally be everywhere. There better not be a wire unbarbed in that arena. It has to be like everywhere.
All of the seats
like,
that people are sitting
chairs,
on, barbed wire.
All over the floor. Like you can't.
Everywhere.
You're not safe. You're going to want like extra thick shoes.
Yeah, I didn't notice they called it barbed wire everywhere last week. I just noticed that this week.
I noticed that this week. And then I noticed that they called it a barbed wire everywhere death match. So at least there's that. Because if it's just barbed wire everywhere, then that's just kind of weird.
But you must die.
Yes.
Fair.
Then there's an Eddie Kingston promo with Ortiz and Ruby Soho. He tells Jericho to bring the Painmaker because that matters, and it won't matter. It will not.
No, it will not.
And he says he'll pay for what he did to Soho and Ortiz, as Jericho would say it, and he'll pay with every ounce of his blood, and he will enjoy it. He says we'll see him next week. It was a short promo, but I liked it. He kind of like seemed like pretty unhinged here, which I really liked.
Me too.
Should be an interesting match next week, I guess.
Yeah, he took like a fraction of the time Jericho did, and I thought accomplished the same or more, right? In like a quarter of the time. So I loved him like getting close enough to the camera. He was like bumping it with his nose at one point because he's just super intense, right? And he's always amazing. So I thought he did more with less compared to Jericho here.
Next we get EA.
The match you wanted.
Moxley versus Takeshita, which I had lost my crap when when I found out this was happening.
I'm just in the middle of watching Takeshita Mike Bailey because it was on YouTube. So I'm going to, so far it's good. But anyway.
This is an interim world title eliminator match. So basically if Takeshita were to win, he would get a title shot.
Right.
Easily the thing I'm most excited for on the show. They did a great job of making me him like Takeshita from that Hangman match. And it's Konosuke Takeshita. I can say it now.
Yes. He is very cool.
I figured out how to say it. Woo, proud of myself.
Good job.
There's a shoulder tackle stalemate back and forth early on. Moxley a chop and takes Takeshita down with the side headlock until Takeshita gets him off at the leg lariat. Then there's a chop exchange. Pretty early on, there's a pile driver by Mox for 2, which I thought was interesting because I don't know. I don't feel like we usually see that early.
Right.
If that makes sense. There's a high German suplex by Mox post commercial break, and Takeshita was busted open during the break. Takeshita comes back with some forearms after gaining a lot of speed. He hits that leaping clothesline he does.
Yep.
Takeshita line, but I don't know why you'd call it that.
No.
There's a brainbuster for 2 by Takeshita. Mox gets an armbar in, but Takeshita gets a rope break. Tope con hilo by Takeshita to the outside, then back in the ring. Frog splash for 2. Blue Thunder Bomb by Takeshita for another 2 count. Mox avoids the high knee, hits a paradigm shift in the hammer and anvil elbows. Takeshita avoids a second paradigm shift attempt, hits a rolling elbow and a high German suplex for a close near fall, which is pretty cool.
It was.
And then Mox eventually hits another paradigm shift, and he taps out Takeshita with the Bulldog choke.
I think it was the Death Rider when he gets it up really high. Is it not different slightly?
Or I thought it was the Death Rider when they, I guess, but I think they only called it that when it was like when they were doing like the Japan matches.
I thought they called it that this time. I could
They
be wrong.
did, but I don't know why. Because
Oh.
they always call it the paradigm shift.
Yeah.
Like it's Death Rider in Japan for some reason.
Another excellent Takeshita match, right? Like, I don't know what it is about this guy, but every match he had has been really compelling so far. I even noticed his selling, right? It seems like that's beyond his years of experience, and his offense always looks awesome. He's got really good size. He's super fast. I think they've like stumbled onto a star here. I don't know if they're going to keep him or use him or if he's signed or what his status is, but with zero story and zero character development, this guy's now had multiple excellent matches, right? And we talk about him a lot. And also, I mean, not to overlook Mox too. Like, kudos to him for giving Takeshita a lot here and helping him look really good again, right?
Yes.
Really competitive match with the current champion of the company. So for me, looking at this show, there's two really strong matches to start the show. So I'm happy. I feel like this used to happen more often on Dynamite than it has been. So this feels like a bit of a throwback to me. I liked it.
Yeah, I thought it was awesome. It was exactly what I expected and wanted out of this. Another phenomenal showing for Takeshita. I can't get enough of it. I think it's awesome. Something
great
about him, he's just really cool. And when he really gets going in a match, he's just awesome. Another star-making showing here. He hits really crisp. It's awesome. And then he's got some sick moves like the Blue Thunder Bomb. Or
his Brainbuster looks sick.
Brainbuster always connects well. That German suplex was really cool, like the way he stalls it for a second. He's really good at selling too, like you also noted. Like in general, I think he does that really well too. I remember the first paradigm shift he took perfectly, like spiked him.
Yep.
I figured Mox would win, as typically the champs win these eliminator matches. Remember, what was it? Like Omega Seidel was really good for some reason.
Yes, it was.
Like last year. Takeshita looked awesome again, harkening back to that Hangman match I really liked. It took a lot for Mox to keep him down, so he looked in defeat. I don't know if it's an actual contender or not, but I'd put this as one of the matches I've enjoyed the most of the year, just because I don't know, I really enjoyed Takeshita. Like I think this and the Hangman match were awesome.
There have been some strong TV matches this year, right?
Yeah, I was like, I mentioned it later when we had like another great match. Like I would even like say like you could have like a Dynamite match category because there's like so many.
You could. I'll put it in the document for year-end awards as an idea, right?
Yeah, because there's like I don't know, there's been so many. Like I can at least think of this one, the main event for the show, Takeshita Hangman. Technically, Danielson Hangman too, like the. Also Dax, Ospreay.
That was awesome.
And
yeah.
the ladder match.
Yep.
Anyways, yeah, I really like this.
Me too.
My favorite thing so far.
Yep.
Maybe my favorite thing overall. Not sure.
It's close, right? There's two matches that were excellent on this show.
It's really close.
And then I like the opener too.
I'll have to think about that.
Yeah, I agree.
Next we get House of Black promo, which I once again could not take notes on, and then forgot to find notes for. So, if you want to find it, I'd say go find it if you want to. But just I'll talk about what I thought. I think I can say I'd rather Julia Hart not speak here. She did fine, but just even the voice, like she just doesn't fit the vibe.
My note says Julia Hart still feels out of place, and I don't know what they can do to fix it.
I don't know why.
And just with the amount of time they don't spend on women, I don't see how she's gonna change or get better, right?
And Black and King also spoke, so I thought they were solid as usual. Clip of King attacking Darby wherever that was. That looked cool. It looked like it was like a store or something.
Yes.
I think Darby versus House of Black sounds great and all. Maybe takes us away from that mirror feud I don't really want. And also I want Sting not involved with this because all it takes is for him to no sell like one thing or something, then they look stupid, and I don't think they need to look stupid like that.
Yeah, so the gist of this was it was Malachi Black speaking as he usually does, right, with metaphors and some ambiguous language, and then Brody King took over and he was more straightforward, and I think that's something they can use more going forward, right? Whereas he speaks, he's the more direct to the point one, and Black can continue to do what he does. And yeah, we talked about Julia Hart just feels a bit strange in with this group still, so I don't know what they're gonna do to fix it, but Brody King, Darby Allin should be a fun match. Major contrast in styles, right? So it should be fun.
Mm-hmm. Next we get Christian Cage with Luchasaurus, and then Luchasaurus is in
turtleneck check. Yes, confirm.
Turtleneck check. Cage says there's something he finds very annoying with the Varsity Blondes who are in the ring. He says just like Jungle Boy, Pillman had a father, but his father was a legend in this business. And legend is other people's words, not his. And in his opinion, he was okay at best. He says Pillman's father would be appalled to know his final contribution to this business was Brian Pillman Jr. So
Right.
that's nice. That's pretty funny. Cage rips on a picture of that Garrison posts on social media of himself. And he says he didn't know what annoyed him, and he realized. And then he asks Luchasaurus if Garrison looks like a Jungle Boy, and then Luchasaurus makes his way to the ring. So I like this. Only complaint, still no explanation for Luchasaurus. We still kind of need that.
Full Kane entrance.
I think it could be really interesting. Yeah, I think his entrance is awesome. Second time they haven't explained it, so I really hope they do that soon. I do like that they chose the Varsity Blondes to sacrifice Luchasaurus because I guess they pointed out that Garrison looks like Jungle Boy, but primarily because Cage could rip on Pillman's father like he did for Jungle Boy, which I like because that's always fun.
Yeah, that's a good. Both of those things are smart, right? Like, you have the dead dad, and you have someone he can motivate Luchasaurus by saying, "Doesn't he look like Jungle Boy?" and go kill him, sort of thing, right? So that's smart. I think for sure.
Next it rolls right into Luchasaurus versus Griff Garrison. There's a nice German suplex, transitions out of like another position by Luchasaurus. Like he had him on his shoulder and then he transitions into a German.
Oh
which
yeah,
cool.
He dropped him down, and yeah, that was cool.
He did that boot against the ring post, and then he finishes him with 2 choke slams in that nerve hold submission, which is called the tar pit, for the win. And then after he attacks Garrison and Pillman, he lays out Pillman on the timekeeper's table, choke slams Garrison through the table with Pillman lying there. What did you think?
Luchasaurus looked like a beast here, which was the point, right? And honestly, Griff Garrison's leaping ability really helps him out on all of those. There were 3 choke slams altogether, so they looked really good because Garrison can get up so high, right? And I don't know, AEW built one main event monster in Wardlow, right? So Luchasaurus, he seems like he'll never get to that level, maybe a notch or 2 below, but he's looking pretty strong so far, right? My only nitpick, I guess, was shouldn't Pillman have been going after Christian at ringside or something, considering what Christian said, which I thought was a little less cutting than his previous 2 heel promos that I've liked better. But
he could have gone deeper into that.
So the guy like attacks, rips on your dead dad and whatnot, and then you just stand at ringside
because there's a match going on, so
right?
You got
distracted, I guess. But yeah, I thought this was all it needed to be, right? So and that Luchasaurus looked good.
Another squash for Luchasaurus. I liked it again. Looks like a beast. Like you said, Garrison has a good vertical, so that kind of helps the choke slams.
Yep.
I wish he finished with those. Aside from the submission, maybe if he used the guy's arm more for like more pressure, like to choke himself, then it would look better. I will say I like the name of the tar pit. I just think
it makes you giggle every time.
It's really funny, and it's amusing. I think it's cool, but it's just amusing. I
wish he would win with something impactful.
It looks like he just did this old ring gear in tar.
I guess that's it.
Cause like all black, you get it.
He is wear all black now. Yep.
Yeah, it looks like
Could be.
Or spray paint, but you're not gonna call submission the spray paint, right?
You could. Why not?
No, but like I guess if you're like 2016 Usos.
Yes.
Playing
or like the Nasty Boys, Boys. I think their gear was like spray paint motif.
It looked like it was like paint splatter, like a
NXT
paintballs.
NXT 2.0.
Not NXT, no, not that. Thank God. The choke slam to the table post match
looked good.
Cool.
Yeah, it looked good.
Next we get a Jazz promo, which is Garcia in 2.0. Menard says they've had enough of cages, and Parker asks how high it will be in the interview. Doesn't know. Menard says he wants Blackpool Combat Club and Kingston's Place locked up too. 2.0 leave angry, and Garcia says he understands why they want to cage him. He says Yuta has been doing Garcia cosplay for the past 6 months, and he will take the pure title from him. That's for his honor. I enjoyed 2.0 here. I thought they were good.
Yeah, they're funny.
The way they kind of fly off the handle.
And then
it's
Garcia.
Funny, like, oh yes. I don't know what it is, but just watching Garcia promos irritates me.
His delivery is not really good.
I don't like it. It's just off the way he talks and like his manner, like the way he delivers and just the way he looks. Like it doesn't work for me, and I don't like it's not even like a good heel you want to hate on. It's just like I don't like it. Like it's just not good.
And on one hand, I get what he's saying about Yuta stealing his gimmick for the last 6 months, which is kind of funny, but like at the same time, not really, because you're part of this we're sports entertainers thing, right? So it's kind of like they want to have it both ways, because now he's like, I'm going to beat you for the pure wrestling, but he's a
sports entertainer going for like probably the least sports entertainment title.
So it feels like after about 2 or 3 weeks of the Jericho Appreciation Society, they kind of, it's almost like they've dropped the whole we're sports entertainers, and it's now like we're just a group that are together, right? No different from any other, which I'm not saying that might actually be better. I don't know, because I don't know how they were going to do the whole sports entertainers, but it seems like they've leaned away from it, right?
Which
Rather
is
than
weird, 'cause
into
that
it.
was like, it's not like they are leaning away from it, but it's not like they're like denying it. So it's still kind of prevalent.
It's now just feels like we're a group of guys with Jericho as our leader, right? There's no real
Right.
anything special sauce to their group or
Right.
anything anymore. But anyways, yeah, I thought like not my favorite 2.0 promo, but they're almost always more entertaining than most people, so I was fine with it. Yeah.
Next we got Hangman interviews, as he's disappointed about being eliminated by Brody King in the Battle Royal or the Royal Rampage
right
a couple weeks ago. Silver and Reynolds come in, and Silver says they're pissed off and they want to face House of Black, and Silver says they'll beat the crap out of those spooky perverts, which I thought was amazing.
yeah, it was funny.
And Hangman agrees to that. So I don't know if it's on Rampage Fighter Fest or Dynamite Fighter Fest next week, because it's a 2-week thing. Also, I wish they would just do normal Rampage, because the fact that there's Rampage Fighter Fest, like, it's just confusing. Like, just make it Dynamite, and then like, or give Rampage its own thing. Like, slightly change the name. Like, so
right.
it's not like Fighter Fest, Fighter Fest, Fighter
so
Fest,
four
Fighter
Fest, basically.
Right, exactly.
Interesting.
Either way, I'll try to catch this though. The prospect alone of Hangman and Murphy sharing a ring for the first time is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Tantalizing to say the least. And Silver also, he's cool. So
I'd like to see Reynolds and Silver
sick.
back in action, right? They're really good together. So
they're the last good tag team left, because Stu Grayson's a little chump.
He's the best, but he's gone.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. Like a little poo. What do you think?
Maybe we'll see him back on the indie scene.
Maybe.
Yeah, I thought it was fine. I don't know. I didn't have too many comments about it, other than I'm glad to see them wrestling again.
Next, we have Claudio Castagnoli versus Jake Hager, billed as what I've titled "The Real Americans Explode."
This has been how many years in the making? Did you say?
I have no idea. Like, I want to say it's like
close to a decade in the making.
Okay, so he won. I know he won. Cesaro won the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal in 2014, like the first one.
Yep.
And he had the Real Americans team when he won, so it has to be at least 2014. Maybe before then, so I'd say like maybe 2013.
I think we could say almost a decade in the making, is how we'd phrase it.
Like, yeah, almost a decade in the making. Yes.
Yeah, it's almost as big as the Mega Powers explode.
Almost
here. Yeah.
Yes, that is. I wrote as the Real Americans Explode, all caps, 1 exclamation mark. Like,
that is important.
Like the Real Americans one, or sorry, not the
Mega Powers. Nice.
Mega Powers. Hulk Hogan is a real American.
Of course.
So
they exploded.
Fight for the rights of every man.
Survived an explosion about it.
Exactly.
Lived to tell.
Claudio counters the ankle lock, hits a Swiss 1-9 for a 2 count, which I thought was like...
Oh, Swiss 1-9? Ha. I've never noticed that.
What?
Is that the official name?
You've never noticed that?
Never.
That's like a WWE thing, too. Yeah, he's done that so many times.
I did not know.
I remember him doing that ever since I started watching.
I was today years old when I learned it was called the Swiss 1-9.
That never occurred to you?
Nope.
How?
I don't know. I've never noticed the... I have noticed doing this show that I disregard a lot of commentary. So if they're calling it, I might have probably missed it.
That was in WWE.
I know. I don't know. I probably listened less then to WWE commentary.
Wow.
Yeah. So anyways, that's funny. Go ahead. My mind is blown.
Yeah. So he does. He always does it like a little slower than I usually see it.
Well, yeah, he's not Rey Mysterio. Sorry, he's not 5'5" and 120 pounds.
Like, and also I wish he'd follow it up with something, because like usually like Rey Mysterio will like do something after. I don't know. It's like it's not.
I thought the impact looked good, but the spin was definitely not fast.
Yeah. And Io Shirai or I don't know. You gotta do something after that move, you know.
Yep.
There's a couple of corner uppercuts by Claudio, then a drop kick to the knee and a basement bulldog. A swagger bomb by Hager for 2. Yeah, it's one of those things you gotta call
Tiffany
out.
Stratton's is better
When it happens. Nope, that's not a swagger bomb.
It really is.
Swagger bomb's the best. Or like you gotta show Brock Lock.
Yeah,
because that's fun.
You do love to say that too.
Or a fight pit, which doesn't apply.
R.I.P. Fight Pit.
R.I.P. Fight Pit, indeed. Fight Pit was the fightiest and the pittiest.
It was
the fightiest of pits.
So much pit.
So much pit. Armpit. Springboard uppercut by Claudio. Also, I was saying I would be very happy if AEW just decides to rip off Fight Pit, because I will.
Whatever, bring Thatcher in and do Fight Pit.
But I don't know if you can call it Fight Pit. Well, if you can call it Fight Pit, then call it Fight Pit. Pit fight, yes. Pit fight.
Simple.
Or Pipe Fit.
Timothy Thatcher in a pit fight. Works. Good to go.
Can I call it Pipe Fit?
Sure.
Yeah. A couple corner uppercuts in opposite corners by Claudio, and then drop kicks and take her to the outside. Or Claudio hits a running uppercut against the barricade. He has a sharpshooter in. Is there any other name for that move? I don't think so, right?
No, nothing.
Oh, okay.
No, they definitely call it a sharpshooter every time.
They always
or never.
They wouldn't. They would never call it anything else. I don't know why they would. But he releases it to take a swing at it, interfering 2.0. Hager has that slam thing he always does for 2. Don't know the technical
Me either.
technical term. I don't know the name.
And sometimes it looks cool, and sometimes it doesn't. It all depends how the dude hits the mat.
For me, it's like, I don't know why that would be like, let's say hypothetically this is a traction finish. That would be the move he's hitting. Like,
yeah.
Come on.
No.
Come on.
What did he used to have, a power bomb or something?
Gut wrench power bomb.
Right.
Dr. Bomb.
Right.
Was that the original Swagger Bomb?
I bet you it was.
If
you look into it.
The distinction between a Swagger Bomb and a Vader Bomb, by the way. So Vader would he climbs the ropes and he's he kind of bounces up a couple times and he would just jump off. But Swagger does where they're lying perfectly. He runs, he hops over them, and then does it.
Yeah.
Faster.
And Tiffany Stratton adds a corkscrew.
More Swagger. Yeah, but that's just stupid. That's just
it looks cool.
That's just
How dare you disparage Tiffany Stratton?
You're bedazzling it too much,
But it looks good, man, when she does it.
Yeah, but she don't got
it looks impactful still.
She don't got no swagger when
it's
she does it.
It's adding impact. Okay? Physics. Because physics.
Starship Pain.
Right. Will gently land on you after spinning 700 times.
Well, I mean, maybe his elbow accidentally catches you in the heart.
I guess.
Or something like that.
In the heart. Straight to the heart.
Yeah, well, the classic wrestling finisher, the heart punch.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's why you know why you don't see it? Because it's banned.
It is banned.
Because it's deadly.
It's like a pile driver in
yes.
WWE. Or,
you can't be punching people in the heart. Willy-nilly.
Willy-nilly. Claudio wins with the Ricola bomb, which is the straight jacket, sit out power bomb.
Which I forget every time and think it looks cool every time. Whoa, that's cool. Oh yeah, he does that all the time.
I like the neutralizer better, but that's kind of cool. I thought it was a fine match. I think it was about what I would expect. I didn't love it. It was just kind of there for me. I think it was it was good enough, but it just wasn't very interesting to me. Not
and
like
it
that
followed,
it was bad.
Followed Takeshita
Takeshita
right?
as well,
so
right? It's just
help.
not very interesting to me. The idea of the Real Americans exploding never hooked me.
That's a main event pay-per-view spot.
That's a show title. In
that's your nitpick. I to nitpick it, I would have saved it for the next pay-per-view main event.
I would have made the pay-per-view named after. That's what I'm saying. It's like a Ric Flair's last match. You build the pay-per-view around this.
Exactly.
I think these guys put on a solid clash. I was just kind of indifferent to it. Just kind of existed. Not much to write home about. Clear win for Claudio. It just existed. Yeah.
I think I feel similarly, but I'm being a little nicer. I thought it was a good slugfest. It got a pretty decent amount of time. Speaking of which, I listened to people review. I'm pausing my thing here. Review SmackDown. Do you know how much actual in-ring wrestling was on a 2-hour SmackDown this past week?
50 minutes.
It was 11 minutes.
What?
It was the first match because then they reviewed Rampage. The first match of Rampage had more in-ring wrestling than the entire SmackDown show.
How is that possible?
Isn't that crazy?
How's that? How? Get ready for the PG4 or the TV14
right, where it's all stupid storylines and then 10 minutes of wrestling. Crazy. Anyways,
that is ridiculous.
So Claudio, I don't know, he's really smooth, right? Just this weird combination of power, speed, and technical ability.
And long tights.
The right person obviously won here, and I'm generally not a Hager fan,
well,
but
you're gonna say Hager shouldn't have won.
I know,
the audacity.
Shocking. I enjoyed this match actually. I would put it in the slightly over delivered category for me. Again, tough following Mox Takeshita, but I thought it was a good match.
Next we have a Hook interview. He's asked with his undefeated records, Tal Shine's future. He walks away without speaking. Standard Hook stuff. I have nothing to say.
I have okay ... So yeah.
This was here because they had an extra minute on the show.
Hook ate and said nothing and walked away. That's it. Yep.
Cool, I guess.
Yep, I agree. That's our analysis of Hook.
Hook thing's worn off for me because they're not really doing anything with him. It's not even like he's had a recent squash that I since before Forbidden Door.
Right. No, he hasn't been. He hasn't. Yeah, I haven't even seen him. We've been watching some Rampage and we haven't really come across him.
No, and even if I'm not watching it, I would see it advertised. I haven't seen anything. There's nothing to see.
They're cooling him off a bit. Maybe.
There's highlights of Rosa versus some Japanese girl from a Joshi promotion, which they aired on Dark as well. Eliminator match. Japanese girl actually won, so she gets a title shot. Do I know her name? No.
Miyu Yamashita. Apologize if I didn't get it right, but it's close. Yes.
Yamashita? Is it Takeshita?
It could be.
I thought he used Takeshita.
Right. Me too.
Konosuke. No. Thunder Rosa interview with Thunderstorm partner Tony Storm because they're a team, and I don't know why.
because they wanted. It's like they work backwards from the name, right? Like,
Yeah.
oh, that would sound cool. Okay, stick them together. But anyways,
Hey, thunderstorms are a thing.
let's go for it.
Yeah.
It'd be
Like,
crazy not to. No, that was what WWE would do for sure.
exactly. And then they would just like have like a women's tag title run.
They would be best friends and then feud within 2 weeks, like Cora Jade. Remember, I called that one too. That they broke up this week. Told you we were.
It was like the tag title win was to throw people off the scent.
And the skateboard incident that we watched.
Skateboard incident.
It was amazing. Amazing.
Rosa says it was such a banger, the Japanese thing. And she's sad she didn't win, and now the Japanese one is coming to AEW to challenge for the title. Don't care.
Sure.
She says she's happy she got to team with Storm last week. Okay, because now they are ready to take on anyone. Because as we know, there is
so many tag teams.
Like,
what a bloated tag team roster.
Remember when they did that tournament?
Yes. So
why did they do that?
Quick, name all the tag teams. Go.
Nightmare Collective. Wait, no, sorry, Nightmare Sisters.
Okay. And
remember that? And Alios with QT Marshall.
And Anna Jay and Ty Conti. No.
Were they in the... No,
they were
remember Diamante and Evilise won.
Correct.
Remember Cameron was in the tournament? Who did she team with?
Oh, I don't know. That's right, she was.
Ariana Andrews or something. She teamed with someone. I feel like Mel was in it. Remember she was in the Nightmare Collective? She shaved her head. Like Serena Deeb.
I don't remember.
Remember it was Brandy Rose, Awesome Kong, and Mel, and she was kind of tall, she shaved her head. She was really like
don't remember.
Unimportant.
Apparently. I would guess.
And like Diamante and Evilise just got
I remember them.
medals. Like
and then they disappeared because
I think Diamante's finisher, remember she did like a rolling snapper and then just like a chest kick, like it was just like a lame thing.
Like a single yes kick.
Yeah,
basically.
Might as well just done a sliding clothesline.
It seems to be devastating because it's catching on, right?
Right.
More and more people.
Sliding forearm.
The Creeds and Mark Coffey are using it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Baker and Hayter ended up the only other team. Okay, I guess Nyla Rose and Play have been formed a team, but
right,
that kind of died as soon as it began.
Right.
At least I hope it died. I wish that team would die. Like not like them dying, but like the team itself dying.
Yes, would cease to exist.
Yes.
Yes.
Baker says she tried to stay away to allow other girls opportunities, but the division is falling apart without her. I think it falls apart. Period.
Yeah, I don't know how not apart it's ever been, other than her as champion.
Yeah, I'm honestly just questioning them having a women's division.
Like they don't seem to know how to do it. I don't.
Like, just pull a New Japan and not have one. New Japan seems to get on fine.
Or give them a complete show. I don't care. Give them Rampage. Give them Dark. Give them time. Give them more time.
Mm-hmm. Hater says they're well equipped to handle Thunderstorm. Get it? Because that's a thing.
Mm-hmm.
Heel's hand is finding like a sandbag for some reason.
Oh, because they talked about how that was a stupid joke. How you deal with a thunderstorm. Because if there's flooding, you use sandbags everywhere.
Okay, that's lame.
Now you know how brilliant it is.
Mm-hmm.
That's that felt like a WWE like prop comedy. I was not a big fan, but yeah, I don't think Thunder Rosa is good on the mic. I think that's
she's not.
Fair to say. I also don't think she and Toni Storm have much chemistry together. So that bugs me. I feel like this also makes Britt Baker feel like less of a star, and that bugs me, right? That she's kind of the interrupt with her little group that don't feel that strong at right now, right? So she's the leader of a group that sucks kind of thing, and I don't like that for her because she's awesome.
Remind you of anything like the Nightmare Collective?
Kind of,
I'm gonna find the person I'm talking about quick.
So I wasn't a fan of this segment, and I don't really care about like the scene surrounding it. And when the women get so little time, everything just feels kind of random, right, and disconnected. So I don't know. This didn't really work for me. What about you?
Hold on. Okay, there it is.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Now I remember.
Yeah, you got it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember now.
Yeah.
That's Mel, all right.
Yes. Brandy Rhodes, failure number 5,024.
Right.
This is okay, I guess. I really literally don't care at all. Rosa spoke like not great.
No.
Baker and Hayter were fine, but on the whole, I don't care a ton for this. Thunderstorm seems pointless. They don't really go well together that much. They just like they like air quotes gel all of a sudden.
Right.
There are no titles. They're like there are no titles for a women's tag division, nor should there be.
No, there shouldn't be.
This is
at
not
this
me
point.
saying there should not be. That would just be an awful idea for no reason. It doesn't make sense either how they went from facing off for the women's title and then immediately to teaming. I don't have the face-to-face respect thing, but still super weird. Don't care. I do not care.
He doesn't care, folks.
Like, who cares? I don't. Speaking of not caring and also women, that sounds bad out of context. Serena Deeb versus Anna Jay.
Returning. Haven't seen Anna Jay in a while, I feel like.
A battle of the submission masters.
Mm-hmm.
By that, I mean they have one submission each. I mean, Deeb has more, but they have at least one each. So
The Queen Slayer?
Yeah.
Anna Jay's devastating sleeper.
Submission.
Ugh, so lazy.
So 3 notables. That's
Go for it.
great sign. Jay Lux and the Queen Slayer, your favorite, but Deeb steps through the ropes and drops down and kind of like a stunner with the ropes to break the hold.
Mm-hmm.
There's this cool arm stretch submission by Deeb, where she's kind of sitting on her head.
Oh, yeah, that was cool.
Jay misses that weird corner kick thing, that stupid thing she does. And Deeb hits a dragon screw. The finish comes in Jay Lux and the Queen Slayer, but Deeb eventually breaks free, submits Jay with the Serenity Lock. She attacks Jay after the match until Mercedes Martinez makes a save and throws Deeb out of the ring. Because I guess that match will happen.
I think that is happening.
This is okay, I guess, if only just because Deeb never does like a bad job. But I don't think
True.
Anna Jay is very good. Because there's numerous points where I thought this was kind of sloppy or didn't go quite right. So I just don't think Jay's that good. This wasn't the worst women's match we've had recently.
True.
Marina Shafir.
She is no play. That's true.
Play. But again, if this is the only one on the show, week it makes it look worse. Like,
yes.
A, you're giving us one a week. B, they're consistently weak efforts. Like,
yes.
Like, I mean weak effort in a sense that the match was weak, not that they're giving weak efforts because they might be trying, but like,
yes,
execution was weak. Post match was fine, pretty minimal. I assume we'll get confirmation for this for Death Before Dishonor if they haven't confirmed already. I haven't seen it, so
I assume it's happening, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's funny because we didn't talk about this either, but I felt the same way. I thought this was pretty good, probably due to Deeb leading the way on this one. I think, like, obviously Anna Jay has a great look and she has some decent looking offense, but she looks lost kind of in between moves sometimes to me. Like, she still has to think a lot. You know what I mean? Eventually, I think if you're good and you get enough experience, you just kind of wrestle and don't look like you're thinking still, but she does. And I agree with a little bit of sloppiness too at times, right? In her matches in general.
Mm-hmm.
But again, she's really young. And I think working with people like Deeb's only going to help her, right? But again, what you said in my notes too, this is the only women's match we'll get on this special episode of Dynamite even, right? Like, this is Fyter Fest, night 1. What do we get?
Right.
We get Deeb and Anna Jay for like 5 minutes, right?
That's like on having a special show and offering us 3 minutes of Trick Williams versus Wesley.
Like, I don't want to say disrespectful, but it's not that far from it, kind of.
It's not like a controversial statement,
right?
I'd say.
But anyways, and the aftermath, fine, standard stuff that leads to a match that should be pretty good because I like Martinez and Deeb. So I'm hoping...
we're on quite the streak here. More women's stuff
I
don't care about. Let's go.
At least it's more women's stuff. That's a starting point.
I guess. No, but they always do like solid amount of segments. It's just none of them are that great.
The payoffs are never great.
Cargill says nobody's worried about Athena and Styliana. Cargill says great for getting them water. Hathaway plays Peacemaker, says they'll be watching Athena and Styliana on Rampage because he's like vouching for the Gray because it was his idea.
Right.
After Hathaway leaves, Hogan says Gray can try all she wants. She'll never be a baddie because she's an interim baddie. This was fine, I guess. Didn't really add much to the ongoing storyline, so like I don't really care. Other than I guess like a little more tension, but I feel like they did like a decent enough job of establishing that last week. So this didn't really like
advance
pile on to that.
No,
much,
you're right.
Right, like it doesn't really like further it. I'm fine if they're hostile to Layla Gray. I'm just hoping it doesn't like facilitate a split from Hathaway.
Same.
I could see that happening. I think in all likelihood it won't happen, but I can see it as at least a possibility, which I don't think should happen.
Because to me, the way this group is structured is Jade is still in charge, right? Like, she's the Brock Lesnar and Hathaway is the Paul Heyman.
Yes, no, exactly.
So that I don't know why he's making this decision. If she doesn't want this Layla Gray there, then she shouldn't be. You know what I mean? Because she's the boss of this group to me. Anyways, I also hope the tension doesn't lead to them splitting up because I think Hathaway and Jade could be an awesome combination. I'm not sure I love how they're using them together right now. And Kiera Hogan following Jade and Hathaway does not sound good, unfortunately, right? Like, I don't think she's terrible, but I think those two are really good, especially Stokely.
Yeah.
So she doesn't sound good in direct comparison, right?
Yeah. present company.
Yes.
Included.
Exactly.
Lethal interrupts commentary. This was basically nothing. He just said like, a death before dishonor will be about him. He'll take the title. Joe's student will embarrass him. Short, but it was fine. Can't say it added a ton. It was just like
at the end of the day, it was different at least, right? Because they've been doing the same. And I mean, the message is still the same, but at least it's like not a pre-recorded. He came out, he interrupted
commentary to say the same thing.
Right. So at least it was a little different.
Hey guys, I'm still gonna face Samoa Joe. I still want to take his title. I'm still the longest reigning TV champion.
So remember what I've been saying for the last 6 weeks straight?
I'd like to reiterate that.
Yes, but in a different venue and at a different time. Perfect.
Different mic.
Yeah. So same stuff, different spot, basically.
Are you ready for episode 500 and women's stuff I don't care
about?
More
women's stuff, yep.
Anna Jay gets interviewed while she's getting checked on. Conti interrupts, mocks her. She says she likes Anna, but she needs to make better career choices. She tells her to go think about it. Think about it. Think about what? Like
her career choices. I thought this was awkward. I guess at least Conti got to speak as her heel character. I saw a thing that she has not wrestled a match since becoming affiliated with Sammy Guevara. Right? She has not wrestled a match since becoming Guevara's evil sidekick.
That's not true.
Singles match then, is it?
Okay, that's fair, because there was a mixed tag with Kaz.
Right, I think she's had not one singles match since.
When was that? That was Double or Nothing, right?
Sure. You would know better than I would.
I think it was, because I know it was on a pay-per-view. Sure, it wasn't Forbidden Door.
No.
It wasn't. No, it was Double or Nothing.
If you say so. So I don't know. I didn't think this was great, but it got women on the show again, although it was the same one who'd already been on it, but it's fine.
I don't care.
That's them going, see, we got women for like a match and 2 straight segments.
How about we scrap all these pointless segments and give us a pointless match?
Put the same effort into some of the awesome male stories you've had and do that too. Like long range book a female story, please.
Right.
Anyways.
Yeah. Other than Baker Rosa, what have they ever done?
That's been long term. Sheeta Deeb.
That
was just like match and then a match and then a match. There wasn't a lot of story.
Some package but that was also like too long. Remember
the whole not letting her win the 50th match, wasn't that how it started?
It started out really strong,
was cool.
The first 2 or 3 matches, but then remember, didn't it go I feel like it went to 5 or 6 matches.
I think you're right.
It dragged out. That was
I think it went 5.
That was that one was a bit excessive.
It was, and by long range booking, it was just like we're gonna have a rematch. We're gonna have a rematch, right? It wasn't like super creative.
Month, we're gonna have, it was like that was like but like. Still
I know.
Even though when I say Baker Rosa, I mean like the first Baker Rosa, because Baker Rosa this year was like not super.
Because clearly they're capable of some amazing storytelling, right? Some of it's got to get to the women's division at some point. Whereas that's what's frustrating about it. WWE, I don't really have any expectations for any division to be written well, but I've seen it happen here a lot, even, and it just not happening in one division.
Feels like they're still excelling everywhere except there. Like I feel like a lot everywhere is like they're doing good. Like I feel like the men's division's got good. I think the tag division's getting pretty hot.
It is. But at the end of the day, you have to be willing to give the women's division more than one short match that's interrupted by commercials and 2
segments.
Little segments, right? You got to be willing to do more than that to get anything sort of with any depth or long term.
Yeah, if it means giving them Rampage and then just like the men get a bit more time on Dynamite, like sure, honestly, like giving them like, and honestly, then it's not like I feel like even if they get more time, putting on like YouTube is like seen as a bit of like, oh, they're on you. Like I feel like at least if you gave them Rampage, yes, it's half the time, but also there's more on the men's side. Yep. So then you could like, and then still on TV, it's still kind of important. Then I would beg the question why the TBS title is a women's title, because TNT is for Rampage, but you could figure that one out.
I guess so. You could swap them.
Like a guy is holding the TBS title. First ever champion was Jade Cargill.
They just steal it from each other because you have to have a match to get it back, and they just never have that match.
No, they do the thing after the draft where you just have a segment where you just exchange the titles.
That's right.
And you throw the title at the person because you're not happy, or whatever Becky Lynch did.
Right, she wasn't happy about who'd she hand it over to? Charlotte. Right.
And then they'd also did that in, I think it was 2020 with Street Profits and New Day.
So the precedent is there. It's what you do. It's that
exactly. Easy. Or I guess you could steal each other's titles and then like, but like since it's intergender, then you just gotta like make it like convoluted. You have like representatives, like so like say like the guy would steal Okay, who's TNT? Okay, so say Wardlow steals the TBS title and Cargill steals the TNT title, right? So like first you'd have a match for the TBS title where like Cargill has a male representative against Wardlow for the stolen TBS
Oh,
title.
they each have a proxy?
Yeah, because like obviously
So one women's
you're not
match.
doing intergender, right?
Nice.
So
one women's match, one men's match.
And then that somehow ends up with Cargill would be Wardlow's representative and
it'd be a beat the clock challenge.
beat the clock challenge, right?
Which I actually like. I like those.
And then obviously someone would get shaved bald and wear a do-rag.
What is that a reference to?
Battle of the Billionaires.
Oh, right.
With Vince.
Right.
Yeah, ECW champion Vince.
Because it was Lashley and
Umaga.
Right. Umanga.
Umanga. Honestly, I don't know how Umanga didn't win that. And then
thought
Donald
he was
Trump
cool,
would have been bald.
Right. Never.
Anyways, that was off topic.
We have hit some digressions today.
I guess because Conti turned heel, that automatically caused an off-screen fracture of their friendship. I'm not saying that that wouldn't make sense, but we had no idea of that, I guess.
Right.
I mean, like you could assume, but like I'd rather not just assume, if that makes sense.
Yes.
Even just like a minor vignette or something. Anyways, this is fine. Well, I want neither. I would prefer a feud opposed to Jay and Jazz because I don't see Jay fitting in Jazz, if that makes sense. So if I have to pick the lesser of two evils, I'll say a feud.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't disagree.
Next we get to our main event. Yay!
In my notes, it's the man event, which I guess is technically true.
That is technically true. I think you can say that for most times because I don't remember last time women main evented. I feel like maybe it was Sheeta and Deeb. I don't even think they did.
Baker and
Rosa for sure.
Yeah, it was.
It is Ricky Starks and Powerhouse Hobbs, Team Taz, if that's still what they're called. Are they? I don't know.
I don't know either.
They were not referred to that here.
No, they were not.
Referred to as that. Then we also have Keith Lee and Swerve Strickland, also nameless.
Right.
Versus Young Bucks, who are the champs for the AEW tag titles, 3-way, which they call Triple or Nothing. So
they did call it that. So clever.
That's cool.
Yep.
There's a really fun back and forth sequence with Nick and Swerve. Like they're just kind of like going back and forth.
Yeah, that was very
cool.
cool.
Just like I don't know, they're like trying to like one up each other, I guess.
We kind of need a singles match, is what that showed me between those two somehow. Just on a random Dynamite in the middle somewhere. It doesn't have to be built to anything.
Yeah, just
like, let me see them fight.
Hot off the win. Swerve faces Nick Jackson.
Right.
Boom. Matt
Spoiler.
It could be a win for either of them.
True.
I mean, the way I phrased it kind of like nothing.
We'll fix it in post.
Yeah.
No, we won't.
No.
We'll leave that right in there.
Matt does the constant Northern Light suplexes thing to Starks and then hits a double one to Starks and Swerve.
Isn't it the Locomotion Northern Lights or something?
Sure.
I think so. Oh, Swiss whatever, Swiss 19.
I know they said that, but like, I don't know.
So
it's not even funny.
You think you know wrestling.
Locomotion? Okay. Like,
it means he's moving.
Ha ha ha. That's hilarious.
Okay.
Very funny.
Keep going.
I love it. There's the corner double chop to Matt Jackson by Keith Lee when Swerve was holding him open. Then the diving uppercut from the middle rope to the back. Hot take flurry on the Bucks and Starks by Keith Lee. Lee goes for a superplex to Hobbs, gets knocked off, and Hobbs hits a bullfrog splash for 2.
JR is... I know I don't listen to commentary much, but when I hear him, I just get annoyed most of the time, right? He doesn't add anything for me other than frustrate me mostly. I'm going to start writing down specifics at some point because I'm just like you. I'll say in the middle of the show, I'll just be like, JR, you're not helping anything. Like,
you need to start keeping track of JR-isms.
And these stupid referees and Orange Cassidy and his comedy stuff and just like, I don't know.
Or weird calls. Like, you just need to start keeping track of weird things JR says.
The bullfrog splash. Yep. That's what it was.
That's what I'd call it if Mantar did a frog splash.
Mantar. Legend.
Moo. Or El Torito.
Yep.
No, that'd be I was going to say tadpole splash, but that was
That's already taken.
Damn. Hobbs has Nick in an electric chair and then Starks like a super cutter for near fall, which is pretty cool.
Looked cool, yeah.
Super kick party. They have to super kick Lee a lot. Takes actually a triple super kick with Starks.
Yes.
To take down Lee, and Starks takes a double super kick after. with the ref down after some hesitation from Swerve. It looked like he was gonna hit Lee, which I was like, what?
Yeah, because they've been teasing.
They have, but like
can they
also
coexist?
right, but
Brand new
also they've
storyline.
been doing fine this
Yes.
whole match. Like
Right.
it's not like I was really confused. I'll be honest. Matt hits everyone with the AEW tag title. And then Swerve he gets hit with it for a near fall. And then there's a BT trigger to Swerve, but Starks makes the pin for another near fall. Lee catches Nick out of the Meltzer driver, and he and Swerve take him out with that like fireman's carry double strike thing that they do. That was really cool. And then they hit Matt with that spirit bomb Swerve stomp thing for a near fall, which I thought that was gonna be.
I thought it was over there.
That was an awesome near fall because I thought that was totally.
Me too.
Taz broke it up. Hobbs spinebusters everyone onto each other.
Looked cool.
That was awesome. Yeah, that was when he was kind of on fire. Starks nails a pretty sweet spear on Swerve. Nick breaks the pin on that. That was
awesome
nice.
Looking spear.
Swerve moonsaults off of Keith Lee to take out the Bucks and Hobbs. Lee hits a pounce to Starks, and then a nice topic on Halo to outside to take out the rest. Then Swerve goes back there and hits Starks with the Swerve Stomp, and he actually picks up the win, which surprised me.
Me too. I was very surprised that the Bucks were basically a transitional champion here, right? But I guess they get to be the first ever 2-time champion, so that's what the feather in their cap. But yeah, super entertaining main event. I thought this was pretty awesome. The last, I don't know how many minutes, but several minutes for this I was like, man, I am glad I'm not the one taking notes, right? Because it got crazy at the end. Again, you have to suspend your disbelief in the referee kind of keeping control because it's not going to happen. And I'm fine with that. Like, this was several believable near falls, right? Crowd super hot and into this. Everybody got a chance to look good. Like, there were times where I thought Hobbs looked awesome. Starks, the spot where Nick and, I don't know if you mentioned it in your recap, where Nick and Starks walked the ropes and sort of
that was funny.
Trash talk each other and slap each other.
And then and then they both got crotch. What was it called? They said something weird. Damn it, I can't remember. It was something stupid.
But I don't know. I thought everyone looked awesome here. 6 of these guys put on one hell of a main event. I thought, and a meaningful title change on TV, which isn't nothing, right? Like, that is something.
Yes.
So,
and a crowd-pleasing win, I'd say.
Of course, the Bucks can go the route of they weren't involved in the finish, correct? So
if Matt's okay.
Right, and yeah, apparently he worked with a stinger in this match, so I didn't notice, really.
Thank God there was no stinger in this match.
But yeah, excellent main event. Really enjoyed it. I think you did too.
Yeah, I really enjoyed this. It was great. Definitely had the main event feel again, which I feel like I did. Like, it reminded me of like that ladder match we had like a month ago or something. Like that had a big fight feel to it. Like this, felt like a main event. Like maybe this one didn't like feel like a huge main event going into it, but I feel like as the match was going, it felt like main event. Yes. There was just action all over the place. Never really felt like there was a big lull in the action.
No,
it felt like
you're right.
Maybe some people were taking a rest on the outside, but there was always something going on.
Oh,
right?
It was nonstop.
I thought they kept a good pace. There's some 6 spots too, some really cool sequences that like even like early on, like the Nick and Swerve
love that little
one-upsmanship, like that was cool. Or when Lee and Swerve nearly pinned the Bucks with that sequence of offense, I thought that was really cool. I guess a lot. I think everyone comes out of it looking pretty good. Maybe slightly less the Bucks, but I don't think they need it as much. But even so, I'd say like everyone looked great here. Elevated Team Taz for me, and especially Swerve and Lee, who I'm happy that they won. I think that's great for them. I hope they get a solid running because they could put on some bangers. I think that actually has a lot of potential.
Me too.
I really like them both, so I'm super happy about that. It was surprising result as I was sure it was a contender for the Bucks, and we built the FA rematch. I kind of wish that had happened, but I'm pretty happy with this too. I think that's really good for them.
Me too.
And apparently the AEWs, they want to like in the absence of a couple teams like Proud Powerful and Hardys. Yeah, Hardys for some reason.
Yeah.
They want to have like a big 5 team, so it would be like these 3 plus Lucha Bros FTR. So that's not a bad bunch to have.
Yeah, their tag team division is good.
Some lower card ones too. So yeah, great main event. Another one of my favorite TV matches AEW's had this year. Like I feel like I said before, AEW's had a lot of TV matches that have been awesome this year. Maybe we need like a TV match category, or considering I don't think there's anywhere else like NXT.
I added it to the year-end awards.
Match of the year, like that would be cool. But anyways, this was great. I really liked it.
Me too. Overall, really entertaining episode. Some really good in-ring work. Feeling like less of a build to an ROH show that some episodes have felt like, right? Like a lot of time focusing on that. So in a 2-hour show, I really enjoyed 3 matches. I really liked Wardlow Cassidy. And then I'm torn between what I like better between Mox, Takeshita, and the main event, which were both, I thought, excellent. Even like Hager Claudio was pretty good, like Haas fight, right? So 4 good matches. The women's match I wasn't a huge fan of, and then a squash for Luchasaurus that made total sense. So In ring, super high marks. Segments, nothing were really standouts. Even Christian was a little less entertaining this week than he has been, but I didn't think there's anything terrible either. Just overall, I think like I talked about it last week, right? We were missing star power, especially in the ring, and this week we got star power. We got the Bucks, we got Mox in matches, right? So, I gave the show an A- for me. Really good show that I would recommend. I would go out of my way to say go watch Mox Takeshita and the main event, right? So it's
Agreed.
nice to be able to say that about a show. So I thought an excellent show this week.
Yeah, I would say definitely check out Mox Takeshita and Hangman Takeshita if you haven't seen that. And definitely check out the main event. I think I maybe even like that more than the Takeshita match, which I was surprised by because I really enjoyed Takeshita, and I'd say you wouldn't even waste your time if you check out the opener. I'm not like saying you need to check that out, but I that's not a waste of your time if you wanted to see that as well.
Agree.
So the opener was pretty solid. Jericho promo was okay. Kingston promo was pretty good. I love Mox Takeshita. That was fantastic. House of Black promo was okay. Christian Cage was solid. Luchasaurus Squash, cool. Jazz, Hangman, Dark Order was solid. Testicle Hager still continues to exist. Hook, women's interview, the Thunderstorm, no thanks. DBNJ, no thanks. Baddies interview, no thanks. Anna J again, no thanks. Main event was awesome. So I think a lot of like that women's stuff kind of in the middle, which I don't think that was great, but two matches I absolutely loved.
Right.
I think elevated a lot and a solid opener. I'm not sure where to put this. I don't think it's quite at an A level, so I'd say like a high B plus.
That's fair.
Like I don't know. I really like those two matches though. Like I would go back and rewatch those at some point because those are really good, and I'm super happy that Swerve and Keith Lee gets it because like that was the thing. When they first came in, like they weren't doing a whole lot. Like it seemed like they were just kind of like
right.
lower card. So it's really cool that they're
and I think
getting
they're kind of doing Keith Lee more athleticism now instead of just
big
power guy.
Yeah, so I think they're starting to turn that around, which is really awesome.
Just a meaningful result in the main event too, right? It wasn't the champions retaining; it's a new champion in an awesome main event, so that bumps it up a bit for me too, right? But yeah, overall an excellent show. We will now take a break from recapping a show and look at some wrestling trivia in a segment we call Off the Top of His Head. All right, I sort of made the trivia again this week from various sources, borrowed a couple, made a couple, just from looking at things. Again, don't know if I've asked any of these questions before, but 104 episodes in, if there's a few duplicates, you're just going to have to deal with it. The first question...
We should make a website called Cadaddle too.
We should, because it doesn't have to be accurate. It's just got to be sort of okay. First question I know I haven't asked before because it's a weird one. Who was the first black wrestler to become New Japan IWGP Heavyweight Champion? I don't know if you know this name or not. He's a legend in Japan.
I didn't even know there was any. I don't know. I have no idea.
He won in 2004.
I have no clue.
Bob Sapp. Have you heard of him?
Nope.
He was a big actual fighter, I think.
Sapp.
On the similar topic, who's the only African-American wrestler to attempt to end Undertaker's WrestleMania streak?
Mark Henry.
Correct. That was easy, eh?
Yeah, I just knew that he did it, so it's like, if there's only one, it's him.
Which weekly show, before its first episode aired, was originally scheduled to be an all-women's wrestling show? It is WWE we're talking here. One of their weekly shows, before it aired, was initially planned to be an all-women's show.
SmackDown?
Correct. I had never heard that before. I'm assuming that where I got that is true, but I don't remember where I got it from.
I don't know.
So which woman, I did not know this either, you'll probably get this one, has wins against the following superstars? Stone Cold Steve Austin, Triple H, Kurt Angle, Edge, Christian, Shane McMahon, Chris Benoit, Eddie Guerrero, and John Cena. Which woman has wins against each of those people?
Against John Cena.
I don't know if it's in tag matches or whatever.
I have no idea.
So think of a woman that worked that whole era and may have participated against the gentleman, I guess. Again, maybe this question's wrong.
Stratus?
Close.
Lita?
Correct. I would like to fact check that one at some point, but
I would like to unconfuse myself.
I like this one. In 2016, according to the source I had, this mid-card at best performer from NXT technically had a higher win rate than Brock Lesnar? So think of someone who came up from NXT who wasn't very good, but technically had a better win rate than Brock Lesnar. He is no longer there. He was briefly in Impact Wrestling.
EC3?
No. He's one of the dancing guys.
Adam Rose?
No.
Fandango?
No. Similar idea.
Oh my god, no way, Jose.
Correct.
What?
Very good.
What?
Again, fact check that one.
Wait, like a better win record?
Winning percentage.
How?
Probably because Lesnar barely wrestled and lost. I would
He
guess.
also won a bunch.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, maybe No Way Jose won a bunch too. Or maybe those.
He was like a jobber.
Maybe it's wrong.
What?
Fact check it later. We'll come back to it. So, who is this person? In Wrestling Observer history, he has won Best Technical Wrestler.
Bryan Danielson.
Yeah, this is just listen. Yes, but listen to these credentials. Best Technical Wrestler 2005 to 2013.
Jesus.
Match of the Year 2007. Most Outstanding Wrestler 2006 to 2010.
Jesus.
He's awesome. And I'm just sort of late to the party. I think he's awesome now, right?
Insane.
Yeah. Who holds the record for most consecutive WrestleMania appearances? It's a good one.
Undertaker?
Nope. 12 is the number.
Kane.
Nope. According to my sources.
Wait, consecutive appearances?
Yes.
12 is the most?
Yeah.
Undertaker's appeared more than 12 in a row, though.
Consecutive?
Yeah, because the streak. I'm confused.
He didn't miss any years?
No, not since he...
Okay, then other than him, we'll say, because maybe this was
he might have
old.
missed 1 year. I don't know. I have no idea.
Canadian.
Bret Hart.
Correct. So who was one WrestleMania away from tying that record in 2007 before suffering an injury?
Triple H.
Correct. I was going to give you a hint and say he tore his quads.
Yeah, I knew he was injured because he faced Cena in 2006 at Mania 22, and they were going to do a rematch of that, but then he got injured, so it was changed to Michaels.
Right.
Which I think makes that's better.
What hobby do you, Jack of FNS Wrestling, and Finn Balor have in common?
Being a lazy sack who does nothing.
No. That is definitely not his hobby. You're a collector of things.
Oh, Lego, right?
Correct.
Yeah,
Lego.
Balor's a Lego guy. And now he's got super long tights. I implore anyone curious about that to not look at it.
What type of weaponry does Damian Priest collect in real life? How do you know that?
That just made sense.
He does. Samurai swords.
Thought
I was almost moved that to the end because I figured there's no way you're going to know that.
That just seems like the most logical answer.
This one I should have put last. Prior to either of them working for WWE, which current female superstar worked as a manager for both Paige and her mother? So a current female superstar managed Paige and her mother. So now think of...
It has to be like older-ish?
No, you would think so, but no.
How?
But think of part of the world Paige would have been in. Might help you narrow it down.
Wrestling.
Pardon?
She was in wrestling because her mom was a wrestler, yeah.
I know, but like in what part of the world?
Oh.
Because the other superstar...
Becky Lynch, I guess?
Correct.
Yeah, that's so weird.
Yeah. Which superstar did a young Charlotte Flair take to school for show and tell?
Okay, I gotta think like Ric Flair, right? Or wait, no.
Think of her when Flair was in WWE, right? I guess.
Like 90s?
And when she was young. So what's that, early 90s? 92, he
Tessa
won
Blanchard?
the Rumble.
Because I was just thinking Tully Blanchard.
No, like what superstar did she take to school for show and tell?
Oh, okay, so like a current... Okay, I thought he was a young superstar. So
no,
I was like...
So when she was a kid, she took a superstar with her.
Yokozuna?
No.
I'm just trying to think something funny.
No. Definitely one of the biggest names at that time.
Bret Hart?
No. And one of my favorites.
Michaels?
No.
Hogan?
No. One of my favorites, and you said Hogan? You're almost out of the family for that one. Get out of the studio.
Ultimate Warrior?
No, again, one of my favorites.
I'm
now you're
kidding.
just trolling me.
Mr. Perfect?
One of my all-time faves. No. I have socks
Coco
with this man
Beware.
on it. No.
Oh, Savage.
Yes, Macho Man.
No, don't you have it's like the Garbage Pail Kids one. What's it called? Savage Randy or something?
Savage Randy. Garbage Pail Kid socks, yes. Name 3 third-generation WWE superstars.
Orton.
Correct.
Ted DiBiase Jr., Cody Rhodes. Does that count? Because, I mean, I know Ted DiBiase Jr. is not current, but Rock?
No. Yes, Rock, Randy Orton.
Charlotte.
No.
Wait, no, not Charlotte. Sorry, hold on.
one other one who's no longer with the company. And he was in Lucha Underground briefly. And he shares his last name with a more famous WWE star who is beloved and referred to many times in matches. He was part of a tag team with his more famous uncle. Really?
I'm gonna regret not getting this.
From Lucha Underground? No Mask?
Del Rio?
No. Chavo.
You
think you know stuff. Jerry Lawler is cousins with which longtime Intercontinental Champion?
Honky Tonk Man.
Correct. Did you know that or just from the question?
No, I didn't know that.
What?
I just got from the question.
Who are the only 3 Triple Crown champions in both WWE and WCW? It's a good question. So I'm assuming Triple Crown is
Tag, Intercontinental,
right.
World.
And in the other one, it's US.
I guess
World
that would
and
make
tag.
sense.
I think
that would make sense.
Because cruiserweight.
Bret Hart.
Yes, that
Okay.
is one. 2 Canadians on this list, actually.
Benoit.
Correct.
He who shall not be named.
Right. And then 1 American.
A real American?
No. Well, yes, but no. He's still with WWE, but is no longer competitive in-ring. He does talking head stuff now.
Booker T.
Correct. Very good. Which WrestleMania?
Mean to Adam Cole.
Which WrestleMania is the only one to not feature a WWF or E championship match?
What?
So
WrestleMania, what?
Which WrestleMania didn't have a match for the main title, basically?
Oh, WrestleMania 1.
Correct.
Duh.
I
thought you meant like no title matches at all. I was like, what?
This one I liked a lot, and you'll get it, I think. Who were the 2 men that competed in the first Mania main event to feature both competitors using their real names? So main event of Mania, both guys.
Was it Lesnar and Angle?
Correct.
I feel like we've done that before, or I just knew that, but I know they used their real names.
What Mania was that?
19.
Correct.
2003.
XIX, as they say. Which title or titles?
The funny one is when they do like because they used to do the Roman numerals all the time, right? When they half-ass it, like a X7 or X,
yes.
like the number 8.
Because
like,
people won't. Our fans are stupid. They won't know what this means.
They do think their fans are stupid because WrestleMania 25 is the 25th anniversary.
Vince
right?
100% thinks his fan base is stupid.
Yeah, because 26 is the 25th anniversary. 1 year is your first. Wait, no, like your first when you get married, that's already your first anniversry, right? Like
right, exactly.
same logic.
Which title or titles have changed hands more than any other in WWE?
Hardcore.
Other than 24/7, like that doesn't count.
Intercontinental title?
No.
Because they hop potato that.
Not
tag
according
titles.
Right. Last question, so you know I like to make it challenging. Which WWE WCW performer was the stunt double for David Arquette in Ready to Rumble?
I have to think of who looks like I don't know. That's not fair. Why would I know that?
You wouldn't. That's why I put it last.
Does AJ Styles count?
So think of the era and just the size. So like a smallish guy with brown hair. I'll give you that. Who can do stunts?
I don't know.
He was in WWE as a superhero.
Helms?
Yes. Gregory or Shane Helms or Hurricane or whatever you want to say.
I find it weird when people call him Hurricane Helms.
So that one was kind of all over the place, but there were some interesting questions in there. So good job. So let's get back to talking about wrestling, which we were hoping for a better episode of NXT UK. All right, so NXT UK this week. What's going on? Let me find my notes. We have commentary, quickly discuss the main event tonight, which will be Mark Coffey taking on Noam Dar for the Heritage Cup.
The hot question, how thorough was it?
It was not that thorough, actually. I didn't even mention it, really.
No, they haven't done that in a while. It's just fun to say now.
It was a few weeks of deadly long recaps. But we head straight from there into the opening match, which is Oliver Carter taking on Teoman. I don't know. I say it different, I find, all the time. Teoman?
would think it's
Teo Man.
Teo Man, but I don't even know if I consistently say that.
And he has Rohan Raja and Charlie Dempsey with him, obviously. So this has been the story of D Familia. They've been recruiting Oliver Carter since his tag partner Ashton Smith got injured and they had to give up the tag team championship. So they've been trying to get Carter to join their little faction. So this match starts out and they trade arm work and we get a stiff up kick from Carter sort of in between their two arm work sessions early on. Carter has control before a brief distraction by Dempsey on the apron allows Teo Man to hit something. I didn't even write what it was to shift the momentum. A kind of a cool neck breaker onto the knee by Teo Man. Stiff forearms to the midsection front and back of Carter. Springboard moonsault, stiff clotheslines by Carter a bit later, followed by an axe kick for a 2 count. We get a sliding forearm to the side of Carter's head that actually looked pretty good. For 2, we get the evil eye countered into I called it a Pele kick. I don't know if that's exactly right, but some sort of flipping kick that looked cool. Carter then has to punt Dempsey off the apron as he's trying to get involved again. He hits Teo Man with a missile drop kick and a spinning heel kick in the corner for the win. I was a little surprised that he got the win and the manner in which he got it. Yeah, me too.
Yes, I would agree.
So D Familia attack Carter after the match.
Because they are not very nice boys.
And it culminates with Teo Man hitting that really cool flipping DDT that...
it's like a front flip inverted DDT.
Yeah, it's cool looking. Mm-hmm. I actually thought this was a pretty good opener by NXT UK standards. I mean, the simple fact that it was more than an enhancement match, right? Which seems
I actually kind of liked it. Like, I mean, not like amazing, and obviously also we were just watching Dynamite, but like, I liked it. Like, I think
Me too.
You have to judge it by their standards, and I liked it. Like, I was paying attention more than usual.
You were.
We'll say that.
I noticed that.
Yeah, and like just like not having an enhancement match makes it more appealing to me. 2
established guys with a bit of a story, as simple as it might be.
I would also put this like above like the whole Kenny Williams situation. Like that technically was also, it fits this billing, but I wasn't like super invested in that.
No, me either. There was a story here, and Carter came across as a resilient babyface, right? And D Familia continue to struggle, which I don't love, right? But I still think they're one of the more interesting heels on this brand. And not that there's a lot of people on this brand we sort of talk about, but yeah, I thought this was a pretty good opener. I was happy at this point.
Yeah, it's pretty good. And that move is cool. I hope Dempsey's next, or actually no, Dempsey should be the final boss.
You think so? That's why I was surprised, because Raja stepped up like he wanted to take the first match, and then Teo Man stepped in. So
also
I don't know
a loss.
If he's going to work through all 3 of them or what's going on.
I guess, but because Dempsey's the coolest boy of them all.
I guess so. Mark Coffey's shadow boxing or something, warming up backstage ahead of his main event. I don't even know if that's what he
was doing.
He was doing something.
Was doing something.
We get a whole bunch of earlier this week and last week. Did you notice that? Like, nothing is happening. I don't know if it matters.
Nothing's happening in current time.
I just thought it was interesting to note, right? Like, I guess it doesn't really matter.
For
it's just
some of it, I guess it makes more sense. But
it does.
Like the Saray thing.
And it also gives you a week in theory, right, to compile footage instead of implying that all of this is happening in the 45 minutes that
I guess
show.
So, yeah.
So anyways,
That's
earlier this week, Sam Gradwell, not Bradwell, as my notes say, Sam Gradwell talks about Trent Seven
That's my favorite thing.
Being the dirt worst. Seven basically immediately attacks him and then is quickly escorted out of the training facility. So just further fuel on that fire, as they say. Nothing really special, I don't think.
Mm-mm.
Also earlier this week, Fallon Henley, who I didn't even know who it was. I had to ask you who it was.
Yeah, I was like, what? You watched 2.0 for like months.
I struggle.
I was so confused. Like, what?
I thought maybe they brought someone else over. I don't know. So she's talking about her time in NXT UK when Isla Dawn sort of creepily approaches, looks Henley up and down, and sort of touches her hair. Henley says that this creepy stuff won't work on her, and eventually Isla Dawn leaves.
Because she's a hillbilly.
So this is what I've started noticing, right? So like the previous segment with Gradwell, this, and I think unfortunately, maybe they have no choice, but this is the level of storytelling on this brand a lot, right? They quickly set up a match for like next week through some simple interaction like this.
Yeah,
like,
it's not that great. Like, it's very like, I don't know if like shallow is the right word, but like, it's like,
I don't think it's the wrong word.
It's not. No,
There's
it's
not
not
depth there.
But yeah, it's lacking in depth. There's just like not a lot to. It's very surface level, I guess.
And I guess
Like
because
maybe that's better.
I think that's right, and because I guess you have less than an hour once a week, right?
Yeah.
So there's hard to get too
But then I
deep
feel
into
like maybe
anything.
you just like cram less stuff in there. Like,
But then at some point when we started watching this, we were loving some of the stuff.
yeah, I don't. There's just been like a bit of a disconnect for some reason. I guess.
I
Like,
agree.
I don't know. It's odd. for sure.
So then we get a last week segment. Josh Morrell, coming off of his win against Primate, was approached by Dave Mastiff, who does congratulate him for that win. And then Mastiff basically challenges Morrell, says nothing personal, but challenges Morrell to a match next week. And Morrell accepts, saying that he'll bring everything he has. So I just made a note that this is the third segment in a row that tells yet another like really short-term, quick build story, right?
I don't even know if this is a story.
But this is what they do, right?
Yeah.
Guy just challenges guy, and then they fight next week. But again, they don't have a lot of room to maneuver. So I sound like I'm being
I would
critical,
honestly
but
rather this being like an interview saying like, "Hey, management told you you're facing this guy next week." Because this made it feel like 2.0, where it's like, "I'm facing you next week."
I'm making this match.
Like,
Oh yeah,
where
let's not start
at least
that.
I feel like here they could have like an interview, ask like, tell him the match and be like, "What are your thoughts on this?" And then Morrell could talk like that in that way. I feel like that would at least
Now
work
that
better.
you've pointed that out to me, watch, I'm going to start noticing it in UK now that I hadn't noticed
'Cause
anyone making their own matches.
You can't even say they don't have management because they do.
They do.
They even have
Assistant
they have an
to the
assistant
general manager. to the.
to the.
So I don't know. Despite this being that third segment in a row, I do kind of like Morrell. I don't think he sounded very good here, but I just hope his run continues because there's not a ton of interest happening on this brand for me, and I kind of think this guy's interesting and has potential, so I'm okay with them focusing on him a little bit. Do you think he's going to beat Mastiff though?
That's possible.
I think it is too, right? It feels like you kind of have to, or what are you doing? You're pushing this guy to win one match against Primate and then just like abandoning it?
Or maybe like this is like he has maybe because he has still some work to do, so maybe he'll like maybe he's not like equipped to face like a big guy like him yet. I
Jack
could see him
Stars
working
cheats,
that
Mastiff
too.
wins, and then he beats Stars instead the next week.
Maybe or like I don't know. I could see it because like Master's a big guy, so maybe
He
like
sure is.
Morrell's like not at that level yet. So I could see them swinging that, and then, like Morrell like maybe like I don't know, you could do like a training storyline or something.
Yeah, like he's a
and
young
at least
boy.
like then that's something for him to do. If you want to build him, then like he's like maybe like kind of working himself to like I don't know level up. Not like
This was
level
too
up,
big
but,
of a test. He needs
yeah,
to like
right. He needs
yeah.
to like go back to square one of sorts, and then like kind of work on it from there.
Right.
Maybe something like that.
Also earlier this week, Wolfgang is sort of kicking a soccer ball around, I guess, and is asked about
As wolves do.
asked about the comments Dragunov made about him last week, which were generally respectful considering
Yeah, so
they have a
it's
match
almost
coming
like
up.
that's something you'd say like if someone's like talking trash
Which
about
he
you,
wasn't.
it's like
He's putting him over.
yeah.
So
Like,
Wolfgang, he is happy that Dragunov respects him, but he says Dragunov needs to be careful and remember how bad that Wolfgang can be in the ring. I guess not that kind of bad, like good bad. Hey man, I'm really terrible, so
don't you forget
just
it.
need to remind you. So he ends by saying someone needs to take the title, so why not Wolfie? Well, I mean, I could offer a few reasons, I guess, but sorry, is iced tea gonna come out your nose?
No, that's funny.
Why not you? Well, because you're not. I mean, I shouldn't be mean. He's decent, but
like I could give him one reason. There's a better guy in his own faction to take the title. Like
so
I'd rather Joe Coffey.
I thought Wolfgang picked up his intensity at the last part of this, which was good. But I mean, there's no way he's winning, right?
You should not be asking such an open-ended question here, Wolfgang.
Do you really want to hear the answer to that, Wolfie? So I don't know. I thought this was okay. And they're just like quickly stapled an opponent to Dragunov, and this is what we get, right? So
what are your thoughts on the champion saying nice things about you? I'm gonna kick his ass.
I'm bad in the ring, but somebody's got to beat you. Is basically what he said. I'm not super good, but
I'm not super good, but no one else is gonna do it, so why not me?
Neither's anyone else, really. So
I guess that's a fair point that he could make.
Our mid-card women's match of the week, we get Stevie Turner, which is blonde mid-carder number 7. I don't know which one she is, but she's taken on them all here. So again, this was really quickly set up last week, right after a brief interaction. This is now the thing I know. Remember, what was I obsessed with match lengths for a while?
Yes.
Now it's this.
It's like when you tell me someone's got like a cauliflower ear when Kyle O'Reilly had the weird
and
elbow.
You can't not look.
Yeah, remember Kyle O'Reilly had like
Yes.
the weird elbow on his
elbow
left
nuggets.
Yeah. It's like I'll never be able to not notice that.
So this was set up last week, and Blair Davenport joins us for commentary, and it kind of kills this match a little bit because we cut away from the match.
It's like an interview during the match.
Right, and we cut to close-ups of Davenport speaking as the match is happening.
Also, her face looks weird.
That happened twice, and then they split screen her, so I don't understand. Like, this match already isn't that engaging, and you're gonna just cut away to an interview in mid-match, right? So anyways, we get a neck breaker by Amal, a pump kick by Turner, a neck breaker by Turner, which I thought, like, is this the diversity of your offense? Like,
Also,
she just hit a neck breaker 90 seconds ago. Do anything else. But anyways.
Also, like, I mean, you know how, like, the beginning of her Tron, it's like the something, it's like the text on the screen, it's like something Stevie Turner. It's like, it reminds me of the Matt Hardy V1.
Right.
Like,
I liked Matt Hardy V1 for the record.
I don't understand what Stevie Turner's gimmick is.
I don't either.
And it's like, there's something there.
She looks different than the rest a little bit. But
yeah, there's something there, but what is it? I don't know.
I don't know either. Corner clothesline, bulldog by Amal. High knee running kick to Turner seated in the corner. Picks her up, hope breaker, and Amal wins as expected. It felt to me like this was more about the build to Davenport Amal than the match itself.
We'll give it away the interview on commentary.
Right. That got almost as much time. I found that aspect of this annoying. I think Amal is decent. I say it all the time. She's
just not that. I don't know.
She at least shows some fire and personality.
She does, but like, there's something missing.
Agree.
To say the least.
She's nowhere near like credible to be taken on Mako.
Why not Amal?
But who? Listen, she's just fine. Somebody's got to beat you. Why not her?
I guess.
And then Stevie Turner's one
also,
of the
Hope Breakers, like, do something else.
Stevie Turner's just kind of one of the interchangeable mid-card women at this point.
To her credit, she's got something to her. I just don't know what it is.
So I said this was okay. It's about the best.
And I know you've mentioned it before. At least, like, I don't know, Hope Breaker. It's just not like, it's a fine move, but that's like,
I would
not
rather
a good
she
enough
had
finish.
something
Especially
else.
because I feel like it just kind of came out of nowhere here. Like, it was the face wash boot in the corner, and then the Hope Breaker, which is just like, it's like a crappier version of a spine buster.
Right. It's like sometimes a low impact looking spine buster.
Yeah. Hobbs, like, better.
Yes, for sure. Noam Dar heads to the ring alone as Shaw is backstage hoping and praying.
Why not Marky?
That his bets on Dar pay off. Remember, he's been giving people 100-1 odds on Mark Coffey. So
even though, like, the odds,
there's part of this that bugs me, but
the odds should get better. Like, they even pointed that out.
Where did this 100-1 come from? I guess the story is he's just overconfident on his buddy, right?
To be fair, Dar's had a longer title run than I actually thought.
But if they
told him,
if you're heels and you gave 100-1 odds, should he not be coming to ringside to like get involved and make sure?
Guess. Well, he was barred from ringside.
Oh, was he? I thought it was just his choice. All right. So then we get a little segment here between Saray and Mako backstage, and what's her face? Amelia McKenzie is there as well. So Saray is speaking Japanese for this. We get subtitles, which I like that instead of forcing them to speak what limited English they have. Just, we always say it, right? Let them speak in their native language and trust us to be able to read.
Agreed.
Right? That so much more comes through. So anyway, she was honored to tag with Mako, but now she wants her next match to be against Mako one-on-one and even says please at the end. And Mako, of course, being the fighting champion that she is, agrees to this as Amelia's kind of like looking on in disappointment, I guess.
And why not Millie?
Why not Millie?
That's going to be the new thing.
So
just ask why not this person.
Mako and Saray leave, and Nina Samuels pops up with a microphone and her like Nina Samuels
when you
show
paused,
graphic.
I saw her poking around the corner. I was like, oh, Nina Samuels.
So there's our setup for that match probably, right? Like Samuels suplex Millie. We're going to get that, I guess. So I guess this segment furthered two stories at once, right? But it's the same type of high-speed booking that this brand uses, right? Like, she asked for a match. There you go. Another example of just making your own match. Dang it.
Yeah.
Although at least that's the champion going, yes. That makes a little more sense to me, right? But still.
For the purposes of pointing it out.
I think Saray Mako will probably be a pretty good match. I still don't think Mako's going to lose. I really don't know who the heck's going to take the belt from her. But anyways. And then we'll get McKenzie and Samuels, which will be for you a 5-star shortlist on your TV match of the year, I would assume, because Nina Samuels is.
It'll be the sole reason for me changing it from just Dynamite to any TV match,
just to include Nina Samuels.
Yeah, and Suplex Millie.
Right. Then earlier today, Mark Andrews, and Primate are asked about Briggs and Jensen. They say they will be the first team waiting for a title shot when these guys bring the titles back to the UK. And then there's the build for that match, right? Like when they come back, we're gonna fight them. So
if they come back, why not Mark Andrews?
Another another fast build. Like, and Primate, who just lost to Josh Morrell, like a guy who's never beaten anyone, is now the number one contender for the tag team championships.
No, different guy.
Obviously. What do you mean?
This is Wild Boar.
Oh, this is Wild Boar. Sorry, I wrote Primate in my notes. I probably said Primate. You're right. It's Wild Boar.
Wild Boar.
Totally different.
He's less toothless.
Right. So anyways, another like high speed storytelling, but that's what we get here. Sid Scala, the assistant to the general manager, makes it official. Dragunov will defend against Wolfgang in 2 weeks. So this main event story gets 3 weeks total, right? Last week, 4. Last week, this week, and 2 more weeks.
Mm-hmm.
So that feels about right.
Are they going to ask Wolfgang on his thoughts about what the assistant to the general manager said about him? I think I would like to hear that.
It might be the segment next week. last week, right after Sid Scala said this, Wolfgang said this.
What are your thoughts on what the general manager or assistant to the general manager said? Or like, the interview will say assistant general manager, and he'll be like, to the.
Main event time: Mark Coffey versus Noam Dar for the Heritage Cup Championship. So we get a multiple round format, right, with the first person to 2 pinfalls or submissions picking up the win. 3-minute rounds? So we
Something
see
like that.
A quick cut of Shaw backstage looking stressed, holding all of the tickets for all of the bets that people have made that he's going to have to pay off at 100-1 if Mark Coffey wins. So round 1, as always in these matches, they're sort of feeling each other out. Dar tries to employ some heel tactics early on. He's taunting. He's not breaking clean. He's sort of kicks to Coffey's knee, but the round ends with Coffey in control, and they each slap each other once after the bell, and Dar sells that pretty well. Round 2, we get a gator lock immediately, and Dar taps out sort of to save himself, I guess, right? And so Coffey takes the early lead. Round 3, Coffey's in control with the bulldog off the ropes for a near fall. Dar escapes to the apron, lands a back elbow that looks really good to stop Coffey's run. Dar attacks Coffey's left arm, lands some stiff kicks for a near fall, 12-6 elbows, and Dar claws at Coffey's face. The bell saves Coffey from a Nova roller. He's about to hit it as the bell rings, and the referee sort of steps in front. Round 4, so we get some holds and counters to start. Knee bar, this champagne super knee bar, which I think is awesome.
Love it.
By Dar, and Coffey taps out quickly there as well to even the score at 1-1 heading into round 5. Dar immediately hits a corner drop kick for a 2 count. Back suplex by
Mark. I was like, that's your near fall right there.
Yes. Back suplex by Coffey for 2 as the pace starts to pick up in these matches, as it tends to in the last couple rounds. We get a thumb to the eye and a nice pump kick to Coffey in the corner. A Dar guillotine is countered into a Coffey suplex, and a Coffey superplex just ends that round 5. So heading into round 6, which is the last round we can have, right? Is that the way it works, I think?
I think so. Wait, wouldn't Dar just want a no contest then?
You would think that try and hold on for that, right?
Or maybe like he wants to win, because I guess then like that probably makes more money for
correct him and
Shaw.
So round 6, we get a nice kick to the head by Noam Dar for a near fall. The gator lock by Coffey, but Dar ends up getting to the ropes.
Which I think that looks kind of cool.
He hits the Nova roller on the floor. Looked pretty good. Both men are down. Back, we get a sweet back elbow by Dar for a near fall, a forearm, clothesline, Uranagi, and a sliding forearm, the deadly sliding forearm. And Mark Coffey ends up picking up the win. He is the new
sliding forearm
Heritage Cup champion. Shaw Samuels then comes out after the match, obviously upset about all the money he has lost since he gave 100-1 odds on Coffey for some strange reason. So some of the like babyface jobber roster come out to applaud Coffey, as well as try and collect their winnings from Shaw Samuels here. So then Mark Coffey celebrates with the cup in the ring. His brother Joe shows up you're wondering
Joe Mama.
For a split second, I was like, is he going to attack his brother? Which I think would have been cool, and maybe that's going to happen. But he doesn't. He celebrates with his brother. So I thought this match was pretty good.
I like the Heritage Cup.
All the Heritage Cup matches are good, right? I thought Dar looked stronger out of the 2 of these. I'm not surprised to say that either. I think he's pretty awesome.
I wish they kind of had built to someone better than
Me too,
Mark.
But who? Right?
Why not Coffey?
That's the problem.
Joe Coffey.
I was a little bit annoyed by the comedy angle with Shaw Samuels. I think it took away a little bit from this for me, because it was like that was part of the focus of this, and I don't think it should have been. I don't know to me, Shaw Samuels is not on Dar's level, but he's an equal part of their duo, even more so, like getting more time in segments and stuff lately.
He
And
always
which
gets like
I don't like
enhancement
that
matches,
choice.
like or whether it's
Yes.
for him or he's jobbing to someone.
I thought the final couple rounds of this were the most enjoyable, almost like all of these matches. I kind of feel like Dar was underused as a champion in that, like I was just saying, right, too much of his like identity was tied up in Shaw Samuels. It made the whole act feel a bit more comedy mid card than I think they wanted it to. Because I think Dar's entertaining like heel main eventer for me, especially in this company looking at this roster. So I'm hoping, can we build Dar into facing Dragunov and being believable?
They could, would they? I don't know.
Yeah, like to me, I would do that, um, but yeah, I don't. I think like not to be rude to Mark Coffey, but evidence. This is evidence that their roster's not very deep, right? Mark Coffey is one of your significant champion. Not that he's bad, but to me, he's
Mark
not
Coffey.
right. He's not championship caliber. Good tag team wrestler, you know what I mean?
But
But
his partner is
singles guy, I'm not
challenging
sure.
for the main title. Oh my god! Imagine Wolfgang won the title.
Imagine.
Why not Wolfie?
But this was a good match, right? I thought.
Yeah, it's pretty good. Not my favorite Heritage Cup match, but I like all of them a decent amount. So.
Yep. Overall, happy to say a pretty solid episode of NXT UK, right? It had two matches that I liked in an hour. Neither of them involved enhancement talent, which is nice. A title changed hands in a pretty good main event, so something eventful as well. And I just have to accept this on the fly storytelling that seems to be pervasive on this show. It's just the way they have to do things, right? I think. So I was mostly entertained this week. Not one of the strongest shows, but I'm gonna go with.
Better than it's been.
I know, so I'm torn between a B or a B plus. I'll stick with a B because I guess there could be stronger stuff in between the opener and the main event. So I'll give it a B. I thought it was good this week. I still don't think there's anything you need to rush out and see, but if you do see it, there's a couple matches that were good.
Mm-hmm.
You?
Yeah. So it was better than it's been, I guess. Like it wasn't great, but a couple of solid matches, and then nothing like offensive in between, I guess.
Yes.
So I guess I'll go with a B. I think that's
it's better
fair.
than it has been, which I'm happy to say.
That's something at least.
Absolutely. All right, so we're going to move into our next segment, which we talk about whatever other wrestling stuff we want, and that is called Any Other Wrestling Business. So all I really have for Any Other Wrestling Business is I did watch Impact Wrestling while sitting out in the sun today. I was also going to talk about Takeshita Mike Bailey that I'm watching, but I haven't finished that yet. So I'll just talk about Impact Wrestling quickly. You did not watch it, but chime in
I did not.
any place you feel like it. It won't take too long. Motor City Machine Guns and Josh Alexander defeated Violent by Design in what I thought was a pretty good 6-man tag team opening match. Basically, the finish was Shelley rolls Diener into the Motor City stretch, it's called. Eric Young tries to make the save, but he gets caught in an ankle lock from Alexander, and then Diener finally taps out just before Eric Young does as well. So the story of this match was kind of, and I'm not quite sure why, because I'm sort of in and out on Impact right now. So it was about whether or not Eric Young was going to join Doring and Diener. So Doring and Diener came down for the match, and it was about to start.
Did he send them on the attack?
Again, right? Like, I don't know. But Young does show up at the last minute because I guess he's somehow at odds with Doring and Diener a bit. Anyways, he did come out just as the match was starting. So before the match, actually, Diener got to speak quite a bit as he was sort of looking for Eric Young backstage and running into various people. So Diener actually sounded pretty decent, I thought, and maybe he'll be transitioning to like speaking for he and Doring if Young does split from them. So actually a solid match, a really good opener for Impact. So the finish of this led to a bit more storytelling. Sabin goes to hand the title over to Alexander, and sort of he and Shelley are both kind of looking at the championship title as Sabin is handing it to him, sort of foreshadowing a conversation a little bit later in this show. We then get, I told you, Jack, cool. I thought it was cool, stylish Killer Kelly vignette where
right, yes, you did tell me.
She's showering, putting on makeup, lounging in her apartment, having a drink. And then she looks through the keyhole of her door, and you can see people moving on the other side, but I don't quite know what was going on. A little bit of intrigue, I guess, or maybe I just missed something. There's that possibility, too. Not exactly sure what's going on, but I thought the tone and the music behind it was pretty cool. And I like Killer Kelly, right? So even though go ahead, tell the Killer Kelly story.
Oh, right. Okay. So it was like actually the last indie show we went to.
We've probably told this before, but it's
it
okay.
was the Progress versus Smash one, right? And
Yep.
we were like walking around. I feel like it was like after maybe.
It was because it was in a bar and it was both shows
Right.
were over or in between.
It was.
The shows
It was either before or after. I think
Right.
you were talking to Stu Grayson.
Yes.
I remember like I pointed her out. I was like, "That's looking." You're like, and you didn't know. I was like, "It was because I think it was after she was on because she was on the NXT UK for a bit."
Yes,
I remember,
and
so
she
that's
was
how
in
I
street
recognized
clothes
her. Yeah.
when we saw her.
So and yeah, I recognized her and you didn't.
Right.
And then I told her, and I was like, and you're like, "Oh,"
because I like her.
Yeah. So that was funny.
So I think she'll be a nice addition to the Knockouts roster that actually seems to be improving. I would just want to book their Knockouts division because I would be like, okay, we're done dealing with Rosemary, we're done dealing with Havoc, right? And we're going to push some of the younger people. But anyways.
I think you're biased.
We then get Macklin versus James Storm in this. So Macklin is now somehow affiliated with Moose. I think he helped Moose out somewhere along the line. And Storm wants to take out Macklin on his way to Moose, I think.
James Storm?
Yes.
That's weird.
I know. So Macklin won this. I thought it was a good physical match. Two guys kind of with similar sizes and styles, right? Macklin won with a double underhook DDT after running Storm into an exposed turnbuckle. I don't know where the turnbuckle got exposed, and I don't think commentary I don't think commentary seemed to know either, because they were like, oh, the turnbuckle's exposed kind of thing. So I'm really glad to see Macklin win, because I feel like he wasn't going to. When they were making it sound like this was like the gatekeeper match to get to Moose, I was worried Macklin was going to lose, because I really like him. I think Impact's done a great job building him as something different from what he was in WWE, like actually a good wrestler now, which would be one difference.
What he was, he was like a side guy to Riker, side guy to Corbin for a second,
and never really did anything, right? I thought Storm looked pretty good here, considering.
I remember the days when he was an enhancement guy in NXT, like way before Forgotten Sons. I remember.
Absolutely. Storm looked good here, despite being a veteran who hasn't been around for too long. So the lights go out after the match. Sami Callihan appears in the ring with a barbed wire bat, but Macklin is one step ahead. He's already escaped the ring to the stage, so I guess that's a feud that's happening now as well. We then get our Ric Flair moment of the week. No thanks. I don't know why.
Why?
It feels like we're getting a bunch of these, whether they're building to him having a match there or something.
They better not,
man.
They do.
So Chris Sabin has caught up to Scott D'Amore backstage. He says he wants a title match, that basically holding that title and handing it to Alexander. He really wants a title shot. Sabin says that technically Alexander may have never even gotten the title if Sabin had not suggested option C to him, which I guess is true, probably. D'Amore points out that it was actually Alex Shelley that won the match for them tonight. So he makes a match between Sabin and Shelley for next week, with the winner going on to face Alexander, I think at the next pay-per-view, but I might be wrong about that. But the Machine Guns are both fine with this. It's not like we're foreshadowing any sort of turn or anything. They're both welcome the opportunity to face each other for this opportunity. So that could be a cool match as well. Chelsea Green taking on Mickie James. So notables here. Chelsea Green kisses Mickie before the match starts to try and get in Mickie James' head.
She kisses her back.
But Mickie James kisses her back, as commentary say this is hearkening back to Mickie James' Trish Stratus feud that was awesome. This one is not. Anyways, Chelsea Green, God, you notice the pause every time I say her name. Why am I pausing?
Rachel Green.
Because I'm going to say Rachel Green, and I have to override my instincts to say Rachel Green every time. So Chelsea Green wins a lengthy competitive match with a roll up with her feet on the ropes. I thought the finish to this was really dumb, because the referee, like probably not even a minute before the finish, had just stopped to count because Green had a handful of tights, but she actually didn't. And if she did, you couldn't tell at all. So he caught that even though it didn't even happen, but somehow he couldn't see that she had her feet up on the second rope, right beside the rope.
Which is like a pretty
way more obvious.
Hard thing to miss.
Right. So I thought that was lame, and I just didn't think this match was very good. And I'm going to say it. I've seen enough of Chelsea Green in the ring now as a heel and a baby face, and I know she's been wrestling for a long time. I don't think she's good. I think she's bland, and I think she's kind of overrated. I think she's okay in the ring at best. She just seems to lack charisma or fire or anything that might make her interesting. She feels like, to me, a less talented Britt Baker, just going on her look and her size and stuff, right? But with like no charisma. And this was supposed to be like a bitter rivalry match between like two former friends, and there just wasn't any heat to this, and the stuff she does is just kind of okay, right? So I'm kind of not in on the whole Chelsea Green love. I don't see it. Great news, Jack. You're going to love that I got to suffer through this segment. What kind of stuff do I love in Impact Wrestling?
Wrestle House.
So not quite. What other stuff do I love in
Supernatural?
Correct. So who would be a supernatural person?
Rosemary.
Correct.
Havoc.
So Rosemary is looking for Havoc. Rosemary and Taya. I think because they're worried about Giselle Shaw, if I remember correctly. Not a good reason, anyways, even though I like Giselle Shaw. So she is taking Taya to the Undead Realm this week to look for Havoc.
Yay.
And I'm out. I'm out already. So they teleport. They walk. Do you know what the Undead Realm looks like?
No.
A dark forest.
Sweet.
And you know what else is in the Undead Realm that is somewhat ironic? Lots and lots of chirping birds in the Undead Realm. Did you know
Maybe
that?
they're zombie birds.
It could be. Undead birds, I guess. So they play this as kind of comedy. Like Taya seems to be in on some sort of joke a little bit. Anyways, they're talking. Rosemary starts ranting about something. Taya wanders off and heads towards this giant, like, oval burst of light. She walks into it, and it's like a blank white space, which she likes better because it's like a blank slate for her. And then she quickly finds Havoc, who looks significantly less dark and edgy from her normal persona. Rosemary joins them here, and Taya says, I see you've met Jessica. Face turn? I don't know. And Havoc smiles to end the segment.
Right, didn't she used to be Jessica Havoc or
Yes,
something?
she was. So I thought this surprise. Guess what I thought about this?
It was awesome.
I thought it was bad on several levels. One, it felt like it couldn't decide if it was serious or comedy, or maybe it was just Taya refusing to take it seriously, but it was like, I think they think this is like funny, kind of, and they're wrong, but they think that. There's no really significant reason for them to seek out Havoc that I can remember. And I guess the point is there's this character change for Havoc, but I'm sorry, who cares? In general, Rosemary's character's super played out as well, but Impact, it seems like they're never give up. It's like something that they think makes their brand unique, is we always have Rosemary, who's a supernatural whatever, but I don't think that's unique in a good way. I think Taya deserves better than this situation. And segments like this make her feel like a mid-card comedy person who's like almost a second for Rosemary.
This is what she came at.
Right?
This is what she came back for.
I don't like this. So anyways, I forget his first name. Gujar. I forget what it is. Anyways, I kind of like him.
Pinder or whatever.
Yes, something like that. So he beat Johnny Swinger on BTI, and he approaches Brian Myers about a match for the digital media title, claiming that Myers said if he could beat Swinger, he could have a match.
So basically, he could have a match.
Myers, being a heel, sort of backpedals and says like, "Oh no, I just said that we would figure something out," or something along those lines. So Myers tells Gujar he's on his way, but he can't. I thought this was kind of funny. He can't challenge for the digital media championship until he gets the blue check mark, which means like he's verified on Twitter. So because it's digital media.
Got it.
Right. So I thought that was a funny, like, heel trying to weasel out of things excuse. So yeah, I think Gujar's a guy they should focus on a bit more.
Maybe that's their ploy to actually get him verified on Twitter. So then it's like,
could be.
That's just like their, and then everyone's gonna like follow him and like.
Or their plan is he'll get verified and get a match, but he'll never be able to get verified, and they'll just have to keep dragging these like Jay Lethal segments. They'll just come out every week and say this.
You gotta get verified, bud.
Masha Slamovich absolutely squashed Tennille Dashwood in like less than 2 minutes, I would say. Basically, dragon screw, boot, snowplow. I really liked it. They still are booking Masha really dominant. And now she's starting to face like more legitimate competition, which is good. She just has like a different level of aggression and intensity in her stuff that I really enjoy. So I don't know. I've seen longer matches with her on indie stuff, and she's looked really good. So I'm hoping that that holds true. So to me, the Knockouts division, they should focus on newcomers like Masha, Giselle Shaw, Killer Kelly to sort of freshen things up because they can all wrestle a bit too, right? Then they would have like a mix of veterans. Like I think Taya's still good. Perazzo's awesome. There's even a spot for Tash. I don't think she's as good as they think she is, but just stop doing things with like Rosemary and Havoc and stuff that's just kind of old. Even what's the group? The Influence? Like,
yeah,
I'm fine with them disappearing for a bit, right? Anyways. We then get a recap of Mike Bailey being attacked by Violent Vibe by Design after he defeated Alan Angels last week. Gia asked him about it, and he gives Diener a match for the title, saying that all Diener really had to do was ask because Bailey is a fighting champion.
Because he's a babyface.
He is. So Bailey's delivery is kind of unique and sounds really, I call it calculated. It used to annoy me, but now I kind of like it. He sounds like a really like disciplined martial arts master who is just sort of choosing his words really carefully. You know what I mean? It's kind of working for me somehow. He's having a great year, by the way, Mike Bailey. Like not just in Impact, but like everywhere. He's a big deal this year.
I don't know.
I'm happy for the Canadian boy. Gia then asked Mickey James what's next for her. Mickey says, "You're only as good as your last match." Gia asked Mickey where she's going, and Mickey says she's going home. And I said, wait a minute, and you probably can't confirm this. Didn't they do this already? Wasn't this part of her feud with Purrazzo that she went home? And remember, Purrazzo went and attacked her on the farm? Like this whole like
I know they did have that match.
This whole veteran is like going home is getting old to me. But anyways, that's where they're going with
Maybe
it.
that's just her going to WWE.
Could be. Main event time. Bullet Club taking on Honor No More.
Dream match?
Oh my god. So PCO is not included in this, as the story is him like slightly on the outs with his faction. That keeps going on. So Heath attacks Vincent on the stage because apparently Honor No More took out Rhino and Heath's attacking them to get revenge. He's doing like the Kazarian kind of thing where he's just coming out and attacking.
Honor Hunter.
Right. Seems really similar to stuff Violent by Design did with Rhino like months ago, but anyways, who am I to criticize? So things break down leading to the finish here. Maria hits a low blow to Gallows to stop a magic killer, although Gallows did have to like walk this magic killer over to the ropes, which kind of looked silly, so she could hit him, right?
Naturally.
Boston Knee Party from Eddie Edwards, top rope splash that I think they called Aurora Borealis, which is one of the things that annoys me about Taven, because he's a guy that takes like normal everyday moves and names them because he thinks he's funny. You know what I mean? Like he hits you with the knee and it's called just the tip, and just I don't know, he bugs me. But anyway,
that seems like I understand doing that sometimes. Like I don't like that's okay sometimes, but like
he has a lot. So he earns Honor No More the win here. So I guess this is Honor No More picking up a win finally in a large tag match, but neither of these factions are really interesting to me. Honor No More just keep doing the same thing while losing most of the time. And Bullet Club as baby faces here just doesn't work for me, especially when half of it's Gallows and Anderson. Do you know Anderson is the open weight champ right now?
I knew that, and
because they were like, he's the champ, and I'm like, what? And then they mentioned it.
I knew that, but I'm still confused.
Yeah, so I guess this match was fine, but the only real highlight for me was there was a sequence early on where Bay and Austin were working as a tag team and hitting like combo moves and tandem moves and stuff. I thought they should be a tag team, man. They had that awesome tag team match, and they just seemed to work well together.
Wait, don't tell me. Machine Guns.
Was it?
Was it?
Yeah, it was.
That's what I thought.
And I would give them a massive push as a tag team, but that's just me. They seem to have great chemistry. So these matches just feel like they're trying to get lots of people on TV or onto pay-per-views. I thought this was like, the best I could say is it was a standard 8-man tag. There was nothing really exciting about it. Nonetheless, pretty good episode of Impact. The opening 6-man tag Macklin Storm match was pretty good. And I like Killer Kelly's vignette quite a bit. But there was a bunch of issues too. We got a lengthy women's match I didn't think was very good. A bad trip to the Undead Realm that was about what I expected. And a Ric Flair highlight that no one asked for. And stop putting this guy on TV at this point. Like, we're done with him, I think.
How old is he?
Who cares? I'm talking about the stuff that came out on the Dark Side of the Ring stuff. Like,
what was it again?
He's a dirtbag. Remember he like sexually harassed
the Planar from Hell?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, gotcha.
So like we know the guy's a dirtbag. We don't need him on TV. Anyways.
We know Vince is a dirtbag. He's still got control in the company, so.
True. The show moved pretty quickly. I was fine with it overall, so I gave it a solid B this week. And you don't have anything for this segment, I don't think?
Nope.
But you do have something for figuring it out?
I watched Princess Bride. That's unrelated, but that's something.
Nice. So we'll move into our final segment where Jack will hit us with any sort of news from the world of wrestling action figures in a segment we call Figuring It Out with Jack.
Okay, so the first bit of news is quite an interesting one. I told you about it earlier in the week. So San Diego Comic-Con season's coming up, and naturally, WWE Mattel, they always have an exclusive. Usually it's like something little more off the cuff. So you may wonder what was this year. I think last year it was an Elite Mr. T.
Nice.
I think also once it was a Slim Jim Macho Man.
Nice.
Oh, wait, no, last year it was Ultimate Edition Sergeant Slaughter, like kind of G.I. Joe one, and then the year before that it was Mr. T, and then they also had the Slim Jim Macho Man.
Right.
This year now,
you told me this already?
Yes.
I'll remember when you tell me. I don't remember right now.
Hold on, try to guess. I want to see if you can remember.
Something that I would.
It was a 2-pack.
Oh, did we talk about this? Was it the movie we reviewed? You haven't talked about that since? Is that what it was?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought we didn't mention it on 103.
No, we didn't. No,
Oh.
because I don't think it did it. I don't know.
I can't remember when we talked about it, but I trust you.
I don't even know if I did.
So-
Anyways, if I didn't talk about it, the Ultimate Edition 2-pack San Diego Comic-Con exclusive is No Holds Barred, Rip,
Gross.
and Zeus. So, yeah, Hogan's got a couple of heads. One of them is...
Rip as in Zach Gibson? or who's it?
Oh, Rip Thomas.
Right.
He's got two reused heads from his last Ultimate Edition, and then also a new head, which is from the Dookie. It's what's that smell? Yeah.
Classic scene.
And then Zeus has got like the lazy eye, and he's got like the yelling face and the grimacing face. Literally the only two faces you really need.
The grimacing face was 90% of
it. No, I'd even argue that the yelling was like over half
True.
of it.
The grunting.
Ah.
Snarling.
Yeah.
Yes.
And Hogan's got like the Rip shirt, a white strapped wing heel title, hands, and he got
Sounds
the Rip
awesome.
gesture. Yeah. So that's the thing.
Sweet. Anything else?
It's not great. Oh, and then we also got then there's some new AEW images, which is I guess kind of interesting.
Yeah.
So it's Unrivaled 10, I want to say. Yes. So the first there's Britt Baker with the old new women's title.
Okay.
You know, like the
Slightly larger.
the larger old one.
Yep.
If that makes sense.
It does.
Yeah, so hold on, I'm just trying to pull it up here because the computer's being stupid. So it's from hold on. The title's like way too big now. Hold on, I'll show you. Like
Wow. It went from being a bracelet to being like a
like
full
a
suit of armor.
a giant like a waistband, like an abdominal thing. And then she's got like a rubber jacket. Gotta love the rubber jackets.
For sure.
Those are my favorite.
Who doesn't?
It's from Double or Nothing. So it's from when she won the title.
Nice.
Then you got commentary Taz.
Okay.
Exciting.
Right.
Very. Oh my god. He's got a rubber vest.
Sweet.
So he's gonna have little posability. Gotta love it. So that's his only position. And he's got like brown pants. I don't love it.
He does look stocky.
He's got sunglasses too and a microphone. So that's lame. It's from Dynamite, November 25th, 2020. And then also he's got the rare variant 1 in 3000, which is slightly different because gray pants and he has a hat.
Oh, the hat makes
Like,
it all worth
such
it.
a waste of a variant spot. Also, Britt Baker's the other variant, 1 of 5000 chase variant. I think this is cool because this is from Double or Nothing 2019, so this would be from her first appearance. So that's kind
Nice.
of cool. It's like a pre-heel Baker,
Nice.
sucky Baker.
Right.
Then we have Andrade. He's got the skull mask head, and then the
Pinstripe suit. The pants you love.
the normal head. Yeah, he's got the great pants. He's got like a rubber suit. I really hope that's easy to take off because I will not use it because the rubber suits are garbage. Then we have Miro and the TNT gear with the TNT title.
Nice.
He's alright. I like the angry head better, but like the smirking head's not the best. Then we have Blood and Guts Wardlow in the white and purple camo. I actually really like that.
Yeah, that
That's
looks
very
cool.
nice.
The face looks good, at least from a distance.
Mm-hmm.
From
And then
this
we
distance.
have Blood and Guts Hager in the inmate suit. It's better than his first head scan, but it's still not.
Still Hager.
great. It's still Hager.
Nice.
That's it.
That is it?
Oh, it's not figure related, but I do want to mention that they revealed the office, like I said today. And it's really cool.
Yes.
Yeah, they have
Want.
15 people. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna get that.
I wonder what
For
price
both
point
of
you
us.
predicting? Like $90? That's my guess.
No, that's
More?
It's more than that.
Damn it.
But I mean,
Have you seen
To
how
be
much
fair,
it is?
I do remember, or I do remember hearing it, but it's like I want to say it was like 120 maybe.
Damn it.
Or something.
Oh,
I
wow.
don't know. It does.
Still cool.
It does have 15 minifigures, which that's pretty ludicrous for a set of that size. So
Yep. Sounds good.
I'll definitely try to get it, or one of us will get it because I think that's probably something you're actually interested in.
It
which
is. I love The Office, and Lego is cool.
Yeah, so that's okay. And you can like take out Michael's office. So like if you wanted to display that separately, you could
Oh,
like put
nice.
it, or you could like that would be cool to put on the shelf. I'd put that on the shelf, or you could put it on the shelf, or
The shelf.
something.
If we ever do video with our podcast, it'll be proudly displayed.
Yes, indeed.
All right. Well, I guess that's bringing us to the end of episode 104. 2 years into this, still enjoying it. Still appreciate any time you spend listening to us talk about wrestling in your week. Would love to hear from you. Comments, anything at all would be nice. Like, subscribe, follow us, whatever you need to do on any of those platforms. fnswrestling@gmail.com. If you'd like to email us, that comes to me. Or if you want to contact us on our not super active Instagram, teenage son who's on his phone all day who could be running a more productive Instagram for us.
For sure could.
FNS_wrestling_podcast on Instagram. feel free to reach out to Jack and tell him to get moving on that Instagram account. But anyways, we will be back here next Saturday for episode 105. I don't think there's anything planned in between that, so we will for sure see you back then. And until then, take care.
All right.